think I'm there. Yes. Oh, is it not showing me? Oh, it won't let me see the split screen thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it that way.
Awesome, awesome. All right, let me switch over. Boom. And there we go. Yo, Kevin Israel, welcome back. Thank you so much for liking the stream. I appreciate it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Creg, the Rock, the People's Streamer, the Great One, the most electrified man in streaming and entertainment. Welcome, guys. Welcome back. Good to see you guys. Let me introduce my guest for today. Her name is Bobby Ann. Which one do you prefer to call you?
Bobby Ann.
Bobby Ann. Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Welcome to the channel. How are you today?
Thanks for having me. Good.
All right. So, you're brand new to the channel. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm a mom, divorced, 35, 2 kids. I live in Utah,
Okay.
work full time, doing the single parent thing, you know.
Okay. Owen, welcome back. Owen, welcome back. Make sure you say hi to Bobby over here. You say Utah, right?
Yep.
What's Utah like? I've never been there before.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's
okay.
beautiful. A different kind of culture, but it's beautiful.
Okay. When you say different type of culture, what do you mean?
The religion, the Mormons.
Okay. You know what? Let me make a note because I kind of need your opinion on that. Only because a while back ago we talked about open relationships, so we talked about open relationships, specifically dating multiple people, and the Mormons, they look like they perfected that somehow. But
not the today Mormons, the old school ones. Now they're really into polygamy but those are
okay.
according to the church, they're not part of the church anymore. So it's like it's like a weird thing, but like not usually is that yeah.
All right, understand.
Gives them a bad day.
Are you able to see the chat on the screen?
Yes.
All right, awesome. As I said, everyone's gonna trickle in little by little, so soon the questions will start flowing. All right, so let me get straight to it, okay? What would you say is like the biggest struggle with dating?
Dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your own words.
That's the biggest struggle.
That's it. Dating. Just dating.
That is just that in general is the biggest struggle.
Okay.
I would say for me personally, it's just the repetitiveness of like same conversation, different person, you know what I mean? Like just the trying not to get exhausted from doing the same, you know what I mean? Like you meet different people, so you have the same conversation, but with different people, and you have to do it over and over until you find someone who you like click with, and then you might get a little bit further into conversation.
Yes.
And then say that doesn't pan out, then you got to start all over again. And like, I think for me personally, like that's my exhausting part, is just like having to keep starting over.
Understandable. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. So thanks for sharing that. When you say repeating yourselves, are you talking about repeating yourselves in person, like on the date, or are you talking about on dating apps?
Both. Like the start of a conversation, the trying to get it going, and like just the initiating like conversation and whatnot, you know what I mean?
Okay. Understandable.
And then when you make it to the date, and it's like, oh, what do you do for a living? Do you have kids? What are your hopes, your dreams? You know what I mean? Same questions, but just, you know what I mean? So that part can get a little...
I do. All right, so I'm going to say 2 things, right? One, I've actually posted a video about this. Do you actually, because of the repetition, because of answering the same questions or even asking the same questions, have you ever decided to copy and paste?
Maybe. Like, yes. I'm totally guilty of it. If I've like started chatting with like, one or like 2 or 3 people at the same time. Yes, I have.
I don't think anything's wrong with it. You don't need to feel guilty at all. You don't need to feel guilty.
It's not very personal, but like if we happen to be on the same conversation as I'm having the same conversation with somebody else. Yeah. I'm just like, all right, quickly copy and paste. But I
It makes sense. Come on. It makes sense. It saves you a lot of time, effort, and come on.
yeah.
It's tiring to keep writing the same thing
Yes.
over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing. It really
No. No,
isn't.
no. All right. Well,
Owen, I'm very proud of you. You got a girlfriend? I am. I am. Owen, I want you to tell me everything about it later on, okay? For sure. Okay, so listen, as I said, the copy and pasting is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to dating apps. You kind of have to.
yeah.
Most people ask the same questions like right off the bat. They'll start off high with a compliment here and there, and then they go
Yeah.
into their qualifying questions. And most
Mm-hmm.
people qualifying questions are the same. So why keep rewriting it over and over? You
Yeah.
can just save one answer
Yeah.
and copy and paste it multiple places. So
Sometimes I adjust depending on the person. Like
okay.
maybe I don't want to give the same response to one guy as I want to the other guy,
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on where I'm wanting that person to fit into my life at that time. Like, do I want you to be someone that I'm open with and like dating, or are you just someone I want to go have fun with? Are
Okay.
depending on
The questions,
where I'm
right?
at.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Depending on where you at. All right, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool. And then going back to another thing that you said, man, this is why I need to write things down because I keep forgetting so much. Okay, so you were saying like, okay, what I meant to say is about has dating ever felt like a job interview?
Oh, of course. That's what it is. I mean, essentially, I feel like that's exactly what it is. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
And it depends on the person because sometimes all the questions are very structured. And I love how you put like the qualifying questions. Like I've never heard it and I was like, oh, like absolutely that's how it is. Like where do you fit into my life? Are we gonna, you know what I mean? Like are
yes,
we gonna connect and do we vibe and things like that? And I feel like you can only get so much through like messaging. I'm more of like a okay, let's message for a minute, but let's meet in person because that in-person interaction to me can be so different than what we write over a phone. You know what I mean? Just to hear that
agreed.
person's tone of voice, to see their facial expression, you know what I mean? Those type of things to me,
Okay.
that makes sense. This
It
makes it,
does.
yeah.
It does. It really does. Owen, great question, by the way. Bobby, I'm gonna let you answer this one.
So the last thing I have from him was I got a girlfriend. It's not loading anything else.
Oh, on the screen. On the screen. Oh, it still haven't seen it yet. Oh, there's a little bit of a delay. It's okay. That's fine. Give it a
Oh,
second. It should pop up shortly, but I'll read it. So, Owen says, Bobby, since you're a mom, would you let your kids date people when they want or at a certain age?
well, I was actually just telling you, my almost 12-year-old just got her first boyfriend.
Okay.
So I'm not, I won't restrict my kids from, let me think of this one. I feel like when you try to put like there's certain boundaries you should have as a parent with your children, but when you try to keep them from doing something, I feel like it's just going to make them want to do it more. You know what
Great.
I mean? So if I stop her and I'm like, you can't do this until you're this age, you know what she's going to do? She's going to go do it anyways, and she's going to do it in secret, and she's not going to be open with me about it. So
Okay.
I'm very much like, she's 12, we're getting there, and it's just a boyfriend. It's not that, you know what I mean? So, and it's great
Did
time to
she come
learn.
to you and told you about this?
Yeah.
Like, okay, okay, mom, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh, she
Okay.
was so excited the day. And I was like, okay, just let's handle this. Like, how are we going to handle this? And I'm like, okay, well, do you like him? Like, is he nice? And I just try to ask questions. Cause at first I want to be like, no, you can't have a boyfriend. You're 12 years old. Because when that starts happening, that's when like, then I have to deal with the love and the heartbreak. You know what I mean? With love comes heartbreak at times, And so I'm just like, am I ready for that to deal with?
Okay.
But if she feels that she's ready, then, I'll just follow her lead on that.
So let me go back to what Owen is talking about. He says two parts. When do you allow your kids to date people when they want? That's one, and also at a certain age. So let's go back to certain age. I know your daughter is 12 right now,
Yeah.
and you also could said a key thing. It's like when they share it with you. Well, if they don't share it with you, chances are they're doing it in secret, right?
Yeah.
So do you have a cutoff, right? Personally, where it's like, hey, because you say you have two daughters, right?
Yeah.
If I'm correct, one is 10 and one is 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just say your 10-year-old comes to you like, hey, mom, I have a boyfriend, right? That's 2 years younger than your oldest. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I want to say that my oldest at one point had boys that she likes, like crushing on boys. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I think I mean, I had a boyfriend at 10. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. So I guess your answer would be no. I don't have an age limit, or
Okay.
I feel like if they're ready to do it, then that's in their own time. Like right now, she's 12, she's ready, and if my youngest is ready at 10 or 11, then that's when she's ready. So I'm all about following their lead when they're ready. If they're ready for it, then I better start getting ready. So I
um,
guess the answer is no.
okay. Owen, does that answer your question? If not, please keep asking. We're here for that. Great question, by the way, Owen. Very, very good question. We were
Yeah.
actually just talking a little bit about that, so I'm glad you were able to touch more on that. Good job, Owen. Good job. Okay. Wow, that is crazy because like again, I'm a brand new dad, so I know I have quite a few years to prepare myself. But
Yeah.
since I love talking about dating, I kinda can't wait. I
Yeah.
just want to be like, okay, we can have a back and forth now. I'm ready to teach you.
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
um,
that's good because my kid's dad was kind of a little like
no,
not not ready. But I just, like I said, I feel like when you're ready,
hmm,
your kids are going to be the one to tell you when they're ready or not,
okay, okay. Maybe if it was boys, you think your kids that would be a little bit more ready. Like, you know what?
Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it's girls, it's his babies. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, yes, we're a lot more protective that way.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Also, as a parent, do you feel like you take it seriously? Where because we've been through crushes, as you said, and we've been through like, oh my god, you have my boyfriend, right? And you and I both know high school relationship is so much more different than a grown up relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're with somebody for 2 months or 6 months, it feels like your whole lifetime, right?
Oh,
But as an adult, you're like, that's nothing.
yeah.
Please.
Oh yeah.
So like as a parent now, when your kid comes to you, despite whatever age, either 10 or 12, and they say, hey, I like someone, how serious do you take it as a parent?
I mean, at this age, I don't take it very seriously. Like there was, as for instance, with my older, she had a boy that they didn't ever make it official, but they confirmed that they liked each other last year. And
Okay.
she was in like fourth grade. And I was like, okay. And she's like, well, what do I do now? And I was like, I don't know. Ask
Which
him
is,
to
there you
walk.
go. That's the dating question. What do
Yeah.
you do? What do you
What
do
do
when
you
you
do?
both
Yeah.
like each other?
So I was like, ask him to walk you to class. Like, ask him to walk you to the orchestra after, like that was
Okay.
tough. And so I just kept it simple, like, with their age, like, and so I was like, no kissing those, you get like, how you'll get those like bad cavities in your mouth if you start kissing. I tried that. So I don't, of
No, you didn't.
course I did. Of
Did it
course
work?
no, she knows better. Like, it's just the same thing as when I told her that she can't have, you can't have kids until you're married. And then they realized that her and her sister were in her dad and I's wedding. So then I lost the leg up on that one. So that was
You
like
can't. Is that
yeah,
practice what you preach, mom?
exactly.
Practice what you preach.
For years. You can't have babies till you're married. And then one day they hit me like, Mom, we were at your wedding. Yep, you sure were. So you just have to adjust as they grow your
Yeah.
responses to things. And so, maybe this next year she'll be like, what do I do? And I'll be like, I don't know, hold his hand. I feel like that would be an appropriate thing. Like, but he hugged her the other week and she just was just lit up that he hugged her. And so,
Yeah.
you just those little
That
stages
is
and
cute. That is super
yeah.
cute. Let me go back to something that you said. You said like, you taught your kid, hey, don't have sex. No, don't have sex until you get married, right? Was that something you were taught from your mom? And then because you heard it from your mom, you decided to teach it back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So is it more of a cycle where it's just like, hey, whatever they teach coming down from generation to generation, I'm teaching it back to my kids, and
I
is
think
it effective?
it's not effective,
Okay.
but I think that it was just natural. Like there's so many things that I say sometimes that my mother said, and I'm just like,
Oh my God, I'm my mom.
why would I sound just like my mom?
Mm-hmm.
And that was just, it seemed like an instinct response to tell them when they were younger and they were asking questions about where babies come from and
Yeah.
things like that, so you kind of just got to think quickly, and so you kind of go back to, I feel like what I was taught was my quickest answer of like a response. Does that make sense? Like,
It does.
so, but for me it's not. And with the fact that me and their dad is divorced now, and I've started dating, which is new to them, because we've been separated 2 years, and
Yeah.
again 10 and 12, so they've kind of noticing like mom's dating, dad's dating, and been getting into like some serious relationships. And
Yeah.
so we've had to have the talk differently
Okay.
about certain things. My kids found my birth control. They're like, why do you need this?
That's a whole different thing.
Well,
Let me come back to that shortly. Let me come back to that. So Owen wants to know what's the ideal date. Now, Owen, before we answer that question, how old are you?
yeah.
Because an ideal date is different depending on your age, right? So if you don't mind to ask, how old are you, Owen? And then after you answer that, then we'll go back to that. Okay. So yes, I do have a couple more questions. Dating as a single mom and all the other stuff, but we'll go into
Yeah.
that a little bit later. But for you personally, right now, right, what's an ideal date for you?
At my age,
Yes, first date specifically.
um, I guess just I'm for me, it depends on how long I've been talking to the person. So, like, if it's
Okay.
someone that I just met, I like to keep it simple. Like, let's do coffee or let's go have a drink,
Mm-hmm.
something that's not, I'm not stuck there forever in case things aren't going great,
Good
you know?
point. Good
Um,
point.
but if it's somebody that I've been like communicating with for a little while and we've already kind of like vibed a bit, I like to just go to dinner. And
Okay.
then usually just basic, like somewhere where we can talk. I don't like the movies because we can't talk and what I mean,
Okay.
communicate. So like,
Jose, welcome to the channel, Jose. So to put short, you said coffee, drinks, or dinner date, right?
yes.
Okay, that's an ideal day for you currently. Okay.
Yeah.
Jose, once again, welcome. Owen says he's 12, but what is it though? Okay, so for a 12-year-old, that's going to be different, right?
Right.
You're not going to be going for drinks. For sure. Coffee, yes, I don't know. Also, I don't know how many kids are out here drinking 12 coffees. At 12-year-old drinking coffees, but hey, to you. um, Dinner is fine. Also as a
That's harder
kid,
for kids. Well, you
yeah.
know, there's these places, and I don't know where you live, but like here in Utah in the summertime, there's a lot of like these little snow cone places
Okay.
where the kids can go and get like, the snow cone type slushies. They're like all over. The shaved ice is all over here.
Yes.
I think that would be a cute little thing to take
Agreed.
a girl to, like a little shaved, or an ice cream, like go somewhere for like
Yes.
an ice cream.
Agreed. That is perfect. That is
I think
absolutely
that would be super
perfect.
cute.
So I'll say this, Owen. The key thing to what Bobby just said, to our first date, is that you want to make sure you're not overcommitting, right? You want to make sure if it's not working out, you can still leave. So you don't want to
Yeah.
do a big full date,
Yeah.
right? And especially your age. Here's what I recommend: arcades. Arcades are fun,
There you go. Yeah.
right? It's a huge icebreaker. You don't have to be forced to talk to each other every like the kind of interview process. But if you're just having fun and you're talking, fantastic, right? And then even if the date is trash, you can still leave, but you're at an arcade. You're gonna have fun no matter what,
Yeah.
right? I personally think the number one goal for our first date is to have fun, right?
Yeah.
So, Owen, I would recommend ice cream, as she says. Like you go into the playground, right? You can go to the playground, go to the monkey bar gym, get some ice cream, and you guys sit down and just talk, right? I don't know how much kids talk and
I was
share.
gonna say, I like your thing about the arcade. Like, I think that would be even better because, like, as adults, we want to talk. Like, it's that's kind of where we are. But like as kids, you're like, it can be nerve wracking to go on your first date and to be that young. Like, I think the arcade is a great thing because it is fun. You can laugh while you're
Mhm.
focusing on games, but you can talk in between. Like,
Yes,
I think
yes.
that's
Like,
cute. I'm
and
gonna save that
it's
one.
not just arcade. Because trust me, adults do this too. You can do bowling. Bowling
Yeah.
is fun. If there's just look around your neighborhood and see what there is to do, right?
Yeah.
If there's mini golf is fantastic, right? I don't usually recommend this for adults, but movie dates are cool too. But make sure it's a movie that you guys both like, and again, I don't really like recommending movie dates, but here's the thing. The reason I don't like recommending is because you can't talk in movies,
Yeah.
right? And subconsciously, guys have this thing where it's like you're in a movie, you need to put your arm around her. You know what I'm saying? Subconsciously. Because movies teach us to do that. Like TV shows, like subconsciously, like certain things send it. Yeah. I don't like to recommend it, but if it's a movie that you guys both like, you can talk about it afterwards. You can be like, oh my God, that's so cool. And not to sound racist, I'm black. I talk in movie theaters all the time. I'm not supposed to. Like me and my sister, we watch TV. We're talking to the TV. We're like, no, girl, don't go in there. Oh, look what this bitch did. You know. So that's just me.
I don't know why you say about racist and white people do that all the time.
Okay.
All the time. Okay. My brother's the worst. Are you kidding me?
They're talking to the screen like they know you're there. You know. So, you know, but yeah, that those are some ideas, okay? Oh, so hopefully that answers the question. Okay, all right, so going back to a few of those subtopics, right? What is it like dating as a single mom? And the reason why I ask this is because I had a guy named Matthew. Matt came on. He was a single dad. We got his perspective, and I would love for one to have both of you on because, you know, single mom and single dad, and like let's both hear it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about that in the future. But what is it like dating as a single mom?
It's hard. It's definitely hard. Just to find the time to step away from the kids to be able to do those things. Okay. My schedule is very limited, you know, so sometimes it's hard when I make that time for somebody and it like doesn't go right or something. Okay. You know, that can be really hard because like, well, I just spent this time doing this. I only have so much like me time, you know, because I have my kids full time. They only go to their dad's like every other weekend. So trying to like continue a relationship with somebody twice a month, you know what I mean? Every other weekend, like it can be hard. I think it's finding the time for me is the hardest. That's why I do a lot of like online dating and like getting to know people through that. Because I just don't have time to be like, oh yeah, let's go for coffee at 5:00 today. It's like, well, actually on my schedule, I'm not free till Thursday at 5. Mm-hmm. You know, like you trying to get me on here, like that's what it's like for me dating. It's like, oh,
you gotta schedule things more often.
Yeah. So it can be hard, and then just the, you know, my kids are very interested in what's kind of going on, and I don't, you know, they've never met anyone I've dated, and that's just me personally. I prefer to wait until I know it's something serious before I introduce my kids. Okay. So there's that,
which is one of my questions. Like, how soon do you introduce to your kids?
Yeah.
To the person.
I introduced them to one person. It was my a girl I was dating a few years ago, and I was with her for almost 10 months before she met my kids. Okay. And you know, that was hard. And then it didn't work out. So then of course there was, you know, so since then, and it's been about almost 2 years. So I guess I've been divorced almost 3 years. So it's been almost 2 years since then. I just haven't met anyone worth the time. You know, kids get attached, they get attached.
I get you. Welcome back, David. Welcome back. Pinkerton, welcome to the channel. Welcome. I get that completely. So let me see. From so far, as I said, with the ex, it took 10 months, right? Do you personally have a cutoff? Like, hey, it can't be 6 months. It can be like, 2 months, and I feel comfortable with sharing, introducing you to my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because some people say that, hey, I don't want it to be a revolving door of people coming through and meeting my kids, and my kids might get attached, right? So do you have a personal number? Or is it just like, hey, from past experience, it just took 10 months?
I mean, the past experience that's just how long, because it was the first one after the divorce.
Okay.
There was one that I was seeing for about 3 months, and I thought about, oh, he had kids, like maybe we could, you know what I mean? So I think it just depends on how I feel with that person. I just haven't felt the need, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I think there's a difference between, you know, I definitely wouldn't introduce someone after 2 weeks or something. Okay. You know, like,
so it's based on comfortability, if that's what I'm hearing.
I think so, and just knowing kind of where you're at in the relationship. I don't think you can really know where you're at in 30 days, really. You know what I mean? Like, So
I hope
maybe
you have at least an
more.
idea though. Like it's been 30 days.
I was just like, I mean, at least maybe by past 30 days, we might have a little bit. But after 2 weeks, like I had my ex introduced the girls to a girlfriend after 2 weeks of being with her. And I was just like, to me, that was too soon, and the
Ah.
relationship lasted 45 days.
Okay, so which brings me to one of my next question then. Um, with the ex, do you guys talk and agree to like, hey, if we're gonna introduce our kids, whether you or him, it has to be a certain cutoff?
So we did when we first initially separated, we agreed to chat with each other first about whether we were going to introduce our kids to somebody. Like I would talk to him, he would talk to me.
Okay.
That ended up not really working out. It just too much conflict because he was like, I want to introduce them after 2 weeks. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And you know what I mean? So at this point, we just kind of went our own ways. And I was like, I want you to just ask the girls. At this point, we agreed to just ask our kids, like, are you interested in meeting this person I'm dating?
Okay.
And that's all I asked them to do, was to ask them how they felt about it and their comfort, how comfortable they are with it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter to me. Just ask them how they feel about it. And if they don't want to meet them yet, then don't force them to meet them yet. That's all I ask.
That's fair. What would you say your options are now as a single mom? Like compared before? I know it's been like, what, 10, 12 years plus. I don't know how long
Options
the relationship was.
as far as
in the guys that you're able to date, guys or girls that you're able to date. Let me be more specific.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me be more specific. The quality of people that you meet on these dating apps, right? Do you find you're running into more fuckboys? Do you find you're running into more people who actually want a relationship? Do you find you're running into people who just want straight up casual? Like, quality wise, what do you feel like you're running into with people?
I would say there's definitely not a lot of people looking for relationships. Okay. I meet all the other types. Not many are looking for a relationship. But I think even when I was in my 20s... Is it based on
the app, or is it just based on... Because there's factors, right? If, for example, Tinder is known for what?
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Well, I've been on all, like, I've done like the Bumble, I've done the Cupid, I've done Facebook. So I've kind of done a little bit of all of them.
Have you done Hinge?
I did Hinge for a minute too.
Okay.
So I feel like for me personally, I run into a lot of people who are just not looking for anything serious, and, okay. But even again, when I was in my 20s and not using dating apps, every time I was running into men, they weren't looking for anything serious. So I think nobody's really looking for anything serious, but when you meet that person, it kind of just can go that way.
It can evolve into something more serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think expectations are kept low, and I understand that more now, as an adult, like that. For me, I'm going the same way. Like, I'm not looking for anything serious, but if it happens to like come around, like I'm not opposed to it at this point in my life.
There's room for growth.
Yeah, I think so, but I just like to go in with not having expectations, because that's when
I get you.
It's complicated.
Billy, welcome to the channel. Okay, I see what you mean. All right, what would you say is the best part about being single? I love how you just lit up right there. You're just like, man, I got stories. You don't know. The best part? How much time we got, Creg? How much time we got? That's what that face just says to me. So, what's up, Packer? Packer, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you. How you doing today? All right, continue.
I enjoy that I'm more free. I love people. Mm-hmm. I love meeting humans. I definitely have a little bit of like a poly heart. I love that I can have interactions with anyone I want to, whenever I want to, and it's not going to affect anyone except for myself. And that's the one thing I love the most, is that I can experience different ways of life.
I understand. No, I do. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Billy, what's going on? Okay, so right now we're talking to Bobby. Bobby is a single mom from Utah. She's amazing. She has 2 beautiful daughters. We're talking about what it's like right now. We're talking about dating in general. Oh, you're learning English. Oh, am I speaking too fast? That's going to be a little tricky since you're learning English. I get you, Billy. Billy, if you have any dating questions whatsoever, ask us. This is what we're here for. Okay. Packer, I'm doing fantastic. Good to see you. Also, once again, chat any question pertaining to dating, feel free to bring them on, okay? So when you say freedom, right? Do you mind elaborate? Like, what is freedom to you?
Um, as far as like dating, I mean, just in general, the freedom of being single, we're kind of talking
Yes.
about, right? So, um, I get my bed to myself. I go to bed when I want. I don't have to worry about wait for. I don't have to go to bed because somebody else went to bed. I don't have to feel bad that I stayed up late and they went to bed. I can go have dinner with Brandon on Tuesday and then go have lunch with Kyle on Thursday. I can
Okay.
have this freedom to kind of do whatever I want, with no limitations. You know what I mean? I can experience all different types of styles of life. If I don't know if I'm
So to put
explaining that.
simple, I do what I want whenever I want with nobody telling me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds kind of like being an adult, right?
Right. Well,
Like that moment when you become an adult, like officially 18, you're like,
yeah.
oh, I can do
Yeah.
whatever I want, whatever I want. Don't tell me shit. You know what I'm saying? Or like you got your own apartment. Oh yes, I got my own bed now. I
Yeah.
got my own. Like, don't tell me where to go to bed. Don't. You know what? I can sleep.
Exactly. It's like moving out again for the first time because when you're in a marriage, it's different. You have to communicate with somebody. You have to talk about these things of where you're going, what you're doing.
Okay.
This is what I'm doing on Tuesday. This is what I'm doing on Thursday. Like I don't want to go to bed yet, but they're ready to go to bed. So you know what I mean? When you get into that type, which is just part of being in a committed relationship, which I'm not opposed to, but I think 10 years for me, I wasn't in my ideal relationship.
Yes.
So I craved this freedom more because I wasn't getting what I wanted out of my marriage, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
No, I understand. Listen, I asked. The reason why I asked about freedom is for two reasons, right? And chat, if you can relate to me, just talk to me, okay? I've heard multiple times that when people are in marriages, it's you know how they call their partner the ball of chain. You know, they're like, oh my god, you're married, oh, you're in prison now. That's it. Your life is over. You're done. Your individuality is gone out the window.
Yeah.
You know, so. And it's not just marriage; it's about relationships as well. You're like,
Yeah.
oh boy, who wears the pants in this relationship? Who you gotta go? You gotta get permission to go
Yeah.
talk to this person. So relationships and marriages get a bad spin a lot of
Yeah.
times, right? Also, the second reason why I asked about what's the best part about being single is because I think society sometimes makes it seem like it's a terrible thing being single. And I'm like, no, it's not. Being single can be great. It can be fantastic. Yes, it can feel sad sometimes, depending on the situation. But it can be pretty damn awesome too.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked.
And relationships and marriage can be too, like the whole like ball and chain. Like for me, I feel like I've got some friends who have great relationships. There is no, I have to ask my husband permission. I can go to bed when they can still have that freedom of being single. Those things that I enjoy so much, they have in their relationship.
Yes.
So for me, like that's what I want in my next relationship. I want this freedom that I'm kind of having.
Yes. You still want to keep your individuality, where it's like
right. And so I think that's the key is that when people can keep that in a relationship, that makes for a great relationship. Being single is great because I do have all these bonuses, but it gets lonely at time. Like it does get lonely to not have someone to come home to, or you know what I mean, like so there are times there's pros and everything's got pros and cons.
I do.
As much as I love this life, I would love this life but with a partner.
I understand. Billy Thor says relationship is really complicated sometimes. So listen, Billy, been there, done that.
Yeah.
I understand. Billy, if you don't mind, to you, what makes a relationship complicated? Right? I'm gonna ask Bobby first, and then you're gonna tap in the chat in the meantime. So, give me. You know what? Let's keep it short. What are two things specifically that makes relationships complicated?
Jealousy and trust.
I feel like those are intertwined.
They can be different. Well, I mean, it depends on who you are. Trust and jealousy, because people can have jealousy. Yes, if you don't trust, you have that jealousy, but there's people who trust their partners, but they still have that insecurity of that jealousy, that maybe they're not enough, or that woman's hotter, that dude's hotter than I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of that insecurity of, not that they don't trust, that they don't love them and that they want to be with them, but they're jealous because, you know, they look at that person differently than they look at you, or, you know, vice versa. And then, like, just because that's where I've had issues with in my relationship is the jealousy.
Yes.
But then I've also had the trust, which, yes, most of the time, if you don't trust, that's why there's the jealousy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But for me, I can say a little bit of both, because I trusted my husband fully, but still was jealous of the way he would look at other women versus me.
Okay.
At one point, you know what I mean? Does that, so for me, those were two things that were really complicated. For me, it was just the jealousy and the trust.
Okay, I do understand. I'll share one. One of the things that make relationship complicated could be social media. And when I say social media, I mean like Facebook, Instagram, even dating apps as well, Snapchat, all these things where it's like, all right, let me talk specifically about Instagram, right? You know, we put an image of ourselves on these social media platforms, and we're kind of selling ourselves, right? So the question is, what version of ourselves are we selling? Because I've heard where if you know you have let's just say you're married, right? But you're still posting thirsty photos. You know, you keep posting like, listen, I get it. If you work out, and you want to put a picture up of yourself, great. But if you're constantly putting up like photos of your bikini, photos of looking this and this, it's called a thirst trap. And it's kind of like you want validation from other men or women, and you're just like, you want validation from other people. Yep. Right? And then when you do get that validation, when you do get that attention, people start sliding into DMs and all that stuff. So social media, right?
Yeah.
And Kathy says finances. Yes, tremendously. Yep. That's huge. That is definitely huge. Billy says, when the other part of the relationship doesn't give us the 50%. Yeah. Because we go in thinking it's going to be 50-50, right? You know, some relationships are more like 75-25. Well, that feels like a controlling relationship. But when the other part doesn't give it 50-50. So I'm going to let you talk about the 50-50 and then talk about the finances. Go.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I definitely agree. The 50-50 is huge. But, you know, there are days where, you know, your partner is going to need you, you know, it's going to need to be 70-30 because your partner can't keep up in that way. You know what I mean?
When you say keep up, what do you mean by keep up?
Well, like maybe for me, like I'm having a down day. I'm having a depressed day, an anxiety day. So I've only got like 20% to give. So my partner's going to have to give 80% that day to help me get through that day, and vice versa. You know, there's going to be days where it's not always going to be 50-50, but majority of it should be, you know, there should be fair exchange in life with everything you do. A friend of mine taught me about that, you know, whether it's in business, life, love, like it's all like there should be fair exchange. And in your relationship, there should be, you know, if there's definitely days where your partner's carrying the 70%, then there should be days where you carry 70%.
Agreed.
Versus some carry that 75% and never exchanging back and forth. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I do think that's a huge thing. And that's something that for me personally, like was one of the things that led to my divorce is there was not fair exchange in our relationship.
Okay.
And going into like finances, that was a huge thing too. We did not agree on finances. Okay. You know, he was very much live in the moment, you know, we could die tomorrow. So we would just spend our money and spend the next couple months trying to get out of debt, which like a part of me could see that because it's, I could save up for a vacation for a year and I could die a month.
You could die right before the vacation. Yeah. Okay. I get you.
I definitely see that. But there has to be some sort of compromise. You know what I mean? Like maybe we don't just book it on a weekend. Maybe we wait till next week, you know, or something when we have things a little bit more organized. Or finances, or maybe we pay our bills before we take that weekend random trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like little
yeah.
things like that. There's got to be, again, compromising, and compromise is huge. That's a huge thing in relationships too. That's a doubt, is compromising. Some people just don't know how to compromise.
I got you. Billy, welcome to the team. Glad to have you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome again. Billy also says another reason is when the man or woman thinks the other part belongs to him or her. Now, Billy, when you say that, the other part, are you talking about their sexual organs? Because that's the first thing that pops in my head. It's like, hey, you're my boyfriend, girlfriend now. You're supposed to have sex with me. Like, like we're married. You're supposed to. It's like, that's my booty. That's my boobs.
Yeah.
So,
that's how I got like a possessive type thing. I was, so I've actually been married twice.
Okay.
And my first husband was very much that, I was his and nobody else's. You know what I mean? Like, and
there's some truth in that. You're married. I'm not talking about, like, listen, I don't own you. This is not slavery. I don't own anything like that. But I'm giving you my name. We're committed. We're literally committed. Like, I literally say, I'm off the market. I'm not for anybody else. My dick is not for anyone else. It's only for you. So, is there some truth in that?
For me, it wasn't about that. I wasn't even allowed to have friendships. Like, he was the only person I was supposed to confide into. You know what I mean? So there was that sense of like, I was his, like, I wasn't allowed to come home past 9 p.m. Like, he never called me. Bobby Ann's not my legal name. He would only call me, like, he was very much, and I think it was just his culture. But it was just like, I was his. I shouldn't talk to my best friends about things. These are personal issues. We don't talk about our marriage to anybody else. And it was like, whoa, like, no, I'm a woman, for one. I'm going to talk about things. And two,
yes,
my friends are you know what I mean? So there was that type of possessive, not just sexually. Like, I agree, like, when you're with that person,
yes,
unless you have an open relationship or that's something you've communicated, because just being married, there's plenty of married couples who live a different lifestyle.
Okay. What about possessions? Billy says, I mean possessions. Juke Sona, welcome to the channel. I'm glad to have you. What about the other person? Think you're okay. And I feel like this would happen more in marriages. It's like, hey, we're married now, so you know that joke that Kevin R says, your bullshit is my bullshit and my bullshit is your bullshit, right? So your home is my home. Like, that TV is our TV now. It's my TV now.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like, I know you bought that food for you, but we're married, babe, so it's ours though. Right? So possessions. How do you feel about that?
I think it goes with keeping your individuality in a marriage. Like, you should be able to have things that are yours. I'm trying to think of something that I wouldn't want him to touch that was mine, or vice versa, besides like my Oreos. Like, those were mine.
You said your Oreos. I love it.
Fucking Oreos.
I love it.
I mean, there's not much I can think of where I was like, that's mine.
I love that.
I could have some, but he'd eat the whole thing. Like, those are mine.
It's like, I don't draw the line multiple places, but I draw it at my Oreos. Yes, and Catherine says, me too. You can't touch their Oreos, okay?
I think you could have some things that are yours if you wanted. Like, I can't have anything that I wouldn't want to not share with my partner. What what's mine is yours, and what yours is mine.
Yep.
Is how I guess it goes. But I really am like trying to think of anything that I could think of where I was just like, besides my cookies. Honestly, I know that sounds silly, but like,
no, I love Chips Ahoy. Oreos is not my jam. Chips Ahoy is, right? Okay. Listen, I remember, right? I went to the store. And I think I was walking around in Walmart. I don't remember what state I was in. I just remember the Chips Ahoy was so freaking cheap. Like, I go to the regular supermarket here in New York. It's like $5 for the families for family size. I went somewhere. It was like $2. I bought 6 of them. My girl got mad at me, bro. Mad. She was like, "What are you gonna do with 6 of those? You're not eating all 6 of those." I was like, "To bet your ass, I'm gonna eat all 6 of those. These are mine, right?" Like she gave me shit for it. And you know what happened? She started eating my Oreos. She ate most of it, even though it was mine, right? Yeah. So, yeah, Billy, you have very good point about possessions. Okay, so,
there should be there's boundaries, and that's part of your individuality. I feel like some things can be yours, you know.
Okay.
But
oh,
I don't know. Yeah.
100%, 100%. All right, so let me go back into the last topic before we start talking about rejections. Love bombing effects. Do you mind explaining what love bombing is first, and then we can talk about the effects of it?
It's where like you just, all right, I'll give an example. So like someone just pouring things out with love. So like there's a guy I was recently, I saw him a couple times, right? And then like the second time I saw him, he was telling me like, I want to wake up to you every morning, and like, you know, I want to be your best.
Second time?
And the second time, yeah.
Red flag.
So tells me that
red flag.
yeah, so he tells me all these things, and like that, you know, and there are all these things I want to hear. Of course, I'm a single woman out in the dating world. You know, you're just the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen. I'm like, well, you can't say that to a woman. That's how you catch feelings. I wanted you to catch feelings. And it's like, you know, and so it's just all this outpour of like of loving that, you know what I mean? All these things, and then, which was, you know, it's like if that would have been after a few dates, great. You know, of course it was like red flags, yes. So I was like, but it, you know, it was just really hard because like, yeah, those are things I want to hear. Yeah, I want to hear that someone wants to wake up to me every day, and I want to be the most gorgeous woman to somebody someday. You know what I mean? And like, but to hear it was just like, and then I never talked to him again after. He ghosted me after that, which was just even the hardest part. So I was like, well, it's fine because like that was too soon. But at the same time, what's the point? What's the point in someone like giving these women telling them all the things, you know, I want to be your man, I want to take care of you, and telling you all these things, but then like ghosting you afterwards or like leaving after, like, what was the point? Because all you did was like open my heart up or that woman's heart to thinking that this could be something, and then you leave. And it's like, well, shit, I had a guard up, bro. Like I had a fucking wall, you know, and like it's been there, and then you had to like kind of peek over with your bullshit. And so then he left, and I was like, well, this is why I have a fucking wall. Now I'm gonna go China style and go fucking way higher. That fucking wall. Yeah. You know, like, so it's just like that type of thing, just like telling these people what they want to hear, which wasn't even necessary. I mean, to be honest, he had already gotten what he wanted, so there was no need for love bombing. You know what I mean? But like a lot of men will do this just to get a woman in a position.
When you say he got what he wanted, you're talking about sex, like actual sex. Like, okay. I've talked about something similar to this before, saying that, and again, this is my truth. I don't know if this, I'm not gonna say this is true for all men, but you don't know when a guy. You want to know how a guy. Let's try this again. You want to know when a guy really likes you, or if a guy really likes you, after how he acts after you have sex with him. That will tell you everything, right? Watch it before the love bombing comes in, the romantic getaways, the invites. You know, he puts a lot of tension before. Does he still put a lot of tension afterwards, right? And I don't know what it is. I saw another video about, it's called post-nut syndrome, right? Like after you get that nut out, it's like clarity. Everything starts clearing up for a guy. You're like, all right, I'm not horny anymore. Do I still like her? Right? Do I still want to be around her because I haven't had sex in a while? I haven't had sex all day today. But now I'm like, I've had sex. Oh, actually, oh my God, you're pretty freaking cool. I do still think you're the prettiest woman in the world. So here's the thing. As I said, you want to know if he really likes you? Have sex and see how he responds afterward. And the reason why I said that is because at the moment I was talking about sex on a first date, right? You know, and again, I like sex on a first date if there's chemistry. If you
Yeah.
guys are feeling it, if the vibe is there and everything is clicking, fine, great. Have sex. See how he responds afterwards. Don't
Yeah.
waste your time. Because you know what?
Yeah.
What freaking sucks? A month, 2 months down the line, you go through so many days, you build so much emotions and all that shit,
Oh
and
yeah.
then he completely disappears. And ghosting
Yeah.
fucking sucks. So,
Yeah, no, I'm all on board. That's honestly, that's how I am right now. Like it's not, I did months of like getting to know a man. There was no sex. It was just like we went on cute little dates, which was honestly the cutest thing. We did so many fun things together, little dates and horseback riding, and it was
yeah.
just beautiful. And we had lots of long conversations. And then, it just didn't work out. He met somebody else and whatever. That's how it happened. So now I'm very much like I meet you and we'll, if it works, it happens. And usually maybe it's me too. I just don't have anything to say to them afterwards. I watched a video recently where a guy said a man doesn't really know how he feels about a woman until after. It's really not like you were saying as well. Like they really don't know because of like the endorphins and everything.
Yeah, like we
versus
mean
like
it in the
woman,
moment. Like when we say it, we mean it. And like
Yeah.
even and you know this before. You know this as well. Even while we're having sex, we'll say all these things. Damn, like you know how many times I said I love you in sex? Oh, oh, oh my gosh! The amount of times, man.
It's awful because girls like me too, because they're releasing all of this all the endorphins and oxytocin. Like women bond when they, you know what I mean, when they're having sex, and so that's hard. And then the men say all this, and then afterwards,
yeah. Listen,
clarity really not into her, and she's like, I'm in love. So it's.
Listen, Billy, you're absolutely correct, and I'm Jamaican, Billy, so you're absolutely correct. And listen, yeah, like Bobby, like our emotions and our feelings, and I'm like, girl, I want to see you in the morning, stay over, sleep over, and then when she wakes up and she doesn't look the same, be like, God, whoa, you were not the same girl from last night, like. Listen,
Yeah.
one of the tips that I want to give guys is this. Before any date, guys, before any major decisions, go bust a nut out. Just go rub one out. Go, please, right? Like if you ever feel like
For her sake, please.
yes, for her sake, or even I'll give this one out to some friends as well too. Like if you feel like, hey, you're in a relationship and you feel like, my God, I want to have sex and I want to like cheat or something like that, go bust a nut out. See how you feel afterwards. See, literally, see if the whole world makes more sense afterwards, right? Because I'm telling you, post nut syndrome is. it's
same for women. I've put myself in situations where I'm like, oh, I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to make awful decisions because I was in that mode of like. What do you want to call it? Like huntress mode. Like I'm like ready, like to get some. And so then there's all these horrible decisions that I was going to make. And then just take a minute, take care of myself. And then afterwards I was like, no, I don't really want to hang out with that guy. I'm okay. It happens with women too. It's the same thing. I'm like, you're freaking sexy. I want you. I don't care about your red flags. You go ahead and do my thing.
Wait a minute,
like,
that's a big red flag. I can't believe I just like drove right past that. Like, whoa.
Yeah. So same with women. Women should do it too, especially if it's been a while and you're like, because you're really excited. So, same thing.
PSA announcement. Please jerk off before every date.
Yep.
Please, you'll have a lot more clarity that way.
Yeah.
You'll see the red flags.
Yeah.
All right. And you'll make better decisions.
Yeah. And you'll last longer if you do get farther.
Exactly. Well said. All right, guys, listen. Right now, guys, we're going to go into the second half. We're going to talk about rejections, okay? We're going to go right into that. Listen, if you've ever been rejected and you want to share your story, if you want to talk about how you feel about rejection, please let me know. We can also bring you into the Zoom conversation. Me and Bobby can talk to you about it. If you have stories or anything like that, we're here for that, okay? So, I'm going to start with you, Bobby. How do you feel about rejection?
Awful.
Okay.
It's awful. Like nobody wants to be rejected. It's not the best feeling in the world. When I was younger, I definitely handled rejection horribly. It was just like, oh, I'm no one's ever gonna love me. I'm the worst person. I'm ugly. I'm fat. I'm that. You just think of all these horrible things of why that person rejected you. Fast forward to now where I'm 35 and like I've discovered, like self-love and all of this, which has been amazing for me because, there's still a little bit sometimes where you're like, oh, maybe it was something about me, but like my outtake is like, it's not me, it's them. Like I'm okay. Like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
and you really have to find, I think you really have to find that self-love to handle rejection better, because I've got friends who handle it with grace. And then friends who were like me that just completely bombs, like just couldn't even, especially dating after 10 years of being with somebody was really rough. When I didn't hear back from that guy, or, the first person I slept with after my marriage, and then I didn't hear from him. And it was like, what was wrong with me and this
I
and
got
this.
you right now. Let me go back to something that you talked about. First off, Freestyle Healer, welcome to the team. Glad to have you. Welcome. Packer Fortnite, welcome back. Good to see you. Welcome back. Let's talk about self-love a little bit, because that seems like to be the difference maker between past you and current you, right?
Yeah.
You said that when you learn to love yourself, when you learn a lot more about yourself. So it sounds like, again, personal development, right?
Yeah.
When you've worked on that, rejection became, what would you say, easier, or it didn't hurt as much? What would you say?
It didn't hurt as much. I mean, and I guess, it still hurts. Even my love bomber, the fact that I didn't hear from him afterwards,
Yeah.
that still hurt a little bit, because I was like, wait, you wanted to wake up to me every day and now you don't. So the difference is not sitting there and telling myself like, well, what did you do wrong, or you're just not good enough, or this and this, and versus it's like,
so that self-talk we do with ourselves.
Yeah, I'm good, I'm beautiful. My performance was great. Like there was no problem. Like this isn't a me problem. This is a that person problem.
Okay.
When the rejection becomes like it's not really necessarily about you. It's that person. Maybe you're just not the person for them. A friend of mine's been really trying to get me to see, like, if the universe wants you to have that person, or that it's going to come back, and it's not there for a reason, and everyone's here to teach you a lesson. So he was there to teach me a lesson for one reason or other, which I think for me personally was just, just to show me that I do want more out of a relationship, and so everyone comes in your life for a reason. And so for now, I handle it a little better. It still hurts a little, like it does, but the self-loathing isn't there anymore. You know what I mean? There's definitely more peace to that, for sure.
I like you. I'm going to add on to what you said, okay? Actually, Freestyle Healer says this. He says, hey, cool setup, bro. He says, learn to breathe. Be alone for a few months, right? Which is key, which is huge. Learning to be alone. And also, find the true inner you. Listen within. I like how sage and zen that sound. Like,
yeah, he made that sound way better than I could. Yeah.
that was very well said.
I took months. I took breaks in between. And before I full blown went into this time, like, you have to be ready and you have to be prepared for rejection.
Okay.
Because you're gonna get it when you're dating. Like, that's date. You know what I mean? And so sometimes you just have to take breaks too. Like I dated, I got rejected, that hurt. I took a few months off.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. Okay. What's your job, if you don't mind to ask?
I manage a cafe, bakery, and a kitchen.
Okay. So let's go back to one of our conversations that we were talking about. Earlier today, we described dating as a job interview.
Yeah.
Right? So, did you get every single job you applied for? No.
Good way to put it. Yep.
Did you get rejected?
Great. Oh, yeah.
You got rejected, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did you cry about it?
Sometimes. If it's something I really wanted, there was a job that I really wanted and I didn't get it, and that was hard.
Yeah. It hurt it for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Does it still hurt now?
No.
Okay. I love that analogy where dating is like
great.
Listen, you're going to get rejected no matter what, especially in different parts of your life, right? You know that mentality that we have, And you said it when it comes to freedom. I want what I want. I want to be able to do whenever I want, how whenever I want. And that's the thing you love about freedom. I'm guessing the part of the reason why you love it so much is because it hasn't always been given to you. You've been
Yeah.
rejected freedom. You've been rejecting the life that you wanted, right?
Yeah.
And when you have it now, you're not letting that son of a bitch
You
go,
appreciate it more. Yeah.
right? So, thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Stop. Thank you. So, yes, that's my thing. So, listen, I'll say this. I think rejection is healthy. I think rejection is very, very important, right? You learn to develop tough skin.
Hmm.
And the way how you handle rejection says so much more about you.
Yeah.
I've had way too many women tell me that, hey, I am so scared to say no to people. Because rejection goes two ways, right? Most of
Yeah.
the time we think about rejection, we think about us getting rejected. But what about when we reject others, right? A lot of people find it hard to say no to
Yeah.
someone, right?
Because they don't want to hurt their feelings, or you
There
know what
you
I mean? They
go.
don't want to be the bad guy,
There you
which I
go.
get because they've probably been rejected themselves. So they know how it feels.
Yes.
But you can do it differently, and just you got to learn from those, but you got to have boundaries. You got to say no. I say
There you
no
go.
just fine.
So even okay, can we be honest? Even as an interviewer, right? Because we're applying for a job at this point, right? Do you think the interviewers are losing sleep about over the amount of people that said no to? Like, let's just say there's an open call job, right?
Yeah.
They interviewed maybe 10, 20 people. They only have 4 or 5 spots available, right? So the other 16, 15 people are not going to get it, right? The fact of the matter is,
Yeah.
they have to reject them, right?
Yeah.
And that's as an interviewer. So, one, it's a numbers game, right? And I love what you said. Not everyone's gonna like you. And
Yeah.
that's okay. That's really okay. You're
Yeah.
not for everyone. If you were for everyone, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
All right? Listen, you're not for everyone. And I feel like once we learn to understand that we're not for everyone, my God, life will be so much more easier. You know who I love? The type of people I love? I love old people. I love them so much. Like, I love to go to old people and ask for advice. You know why?
Yeah.
They don't give a shit.
No.
They don't give a shit
That's
about what people
great.
think about them. And I used to like think it's so weird. Like, for example, when you go to the bathroom sometimes, like in public bathrooms, like for example the pools. Pools are
Yeah.
perfect. Every now and then you'll see that old lady or old man with their balls out, their tits out, and all that stuff. And then us younger generation are like, how could them? No.
Yeah.
Put your titties away, sir. I don't want to see your ball sack. It's on the ground, man. Take it up, right? They don't give a fuck. They really don't. They're like, listen, your opinion does not make my reality.
Yeah.
What you think about me, I don't give a shit. You're not paying my bills. So you could reject me, but because of the self-love that I have for myself,
Yeah.
it shields everything. It
Well,
shields all of that.
the sooner you find that, the happier you'll be. Because I've gotten, for me personally, I'm kind of like, I don't care. Like, you've watched my TikToks. Like, I'm at a point where I don't care. And I love
How good does it feel not to care?
so fucking good. So good. It's great because like I don't. I mean, I had over, I don't know, it's 50 plus thousand people see one of my things that I was like, that many people know now what I went through. And that was kind of like, and I was like, you know what? But I don't fucking care. Like, this is my reality. And like, I'm doing me. And I love that the old people are like that. And I want to be like that, but not when I'm old. I want to be that way now, 35, when I'm young and can be youthful and like have my tits hang out and look good while they're doing it still and not care. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I love that. I absolutely, I think people should care less because you find more peace. And I wanted to also touch on how you said about rejection. You had said that it explains a lot about yourself, how you
respond to
react
it.
to getting yes, yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's so true, because like that's when I have known that I've needed to take breaks from dating, or when I wasn't in a good place, is how I reacted to that rejection. Some of them I handled with grace and was like, yeah, that's, fine. And then when one really hurt, and I was like, okay, I need to step back because there's something I need to do because I'm not handling this well. And I think it's a great way to know where you're kind of at with things by how you take rejection. I think that was great how you put that, though. I never thought of it like that, but I was like, yeah, absolutely it is.
Agreed. I'm gonna share something with you. Billy says we have to love ourselves, and it doesn't matter what other people think about us. 100%, Billy. You're super correct. 100% correct about that. I'll share a story with you, chat. With you too, Bob. So I'm gonna transition here. So I'm looking for another job right now, right? And I love talking about dating, and when I get rejected by dating, I don't care. I love it. I relish in it, right? I even recommend it more. Like I recommend, what I mean recommend it more. If you don't like me, tell me you don't like me. That's okay. I'm not gonna cry about it. Great. We don't waste each other's time. Bye. Right? So I found myself, like, when I was going on all these interviews, I was getting emotionally attached, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling down on myself? Oh, I went through 5 job interviews, and they all make false promises. They all love bombing. We're like, wow, you seem like a great candidate, or you're qualified. You have the availability. You have the experience. Wow, you know what? I'll let you know in 24 hours. You know what? You know what? We can even bring you back for training. We can do all this stuff. That shit is dating. That's like, wow, you're such an amazing person. You're fantastic. You're beautiful. You're sexy. I can see myself being with you, right? That's what it is. And I'm in the freaking shower, butt hurt, because I don't get a call back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when I'm dating, I don't care if I don't get a call back. But here I am crying. I'm like, oh my God, I still have work on myself to do when it comes to rejection. Like, damn. Like, I feel like we need to practice getting rejected sometimes.
Well, it's okay to feel I feel like a little hurt too, especially when they tell you all these things about you. Oh, that you're this, you're a perfect candidate. And when that's essentially in a way some of the love bombing. Like, don't tell me any of this and just be like, you're not my type. Well, great, I'm somebody's type, but it may not be yours. I can handle the truth more than like the lies of the bullshit of like, oh, you're this and you're so gorgeous and any man would be lucky to have you, just not me. Like, I'd prefer you to just be like, oh, any man would be lucky to have you. You're not my type.
Yeah.
I prefer hearing that than just like, oh yeah, let's do this again. And then not hear from you for, forever. So it's like, just be more, I feel like, be blunt and honest. Like or just don't say anything at all. Like, I had to meet up with a guy last week, honestly, and we had a cute little sat down, watched a movie, chatted for like, I don't know, hour and a half or something. And I was like, well, it's getting late. Like, I'm going to go. And he's like, okay, cool. Hugged each other. Went our separate ways. Not one text has been sent since on either part. Because I think which that could have been like, oh, this isn't. But I think we both knew that it was just not. We just didn't vibe.
It wasn't there. It wasn't there. Yeah.
It wasn't there. You know what I mean? But like, if he were to have asked, like, I thought about messaging him and being like, hey, like, that was really sweet, but you're not. But he never said anything to me. So I just left it be. You know what I mean? But like, if someone were to come at me and be like, oh, blah, blah, I rejected a couple men a few months ago. I wanted to take a break again. And so I was just like, look, I copy and pasted and put it like we were talking.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, Bobby. It's okay. It's okay. Copy and paste is all right, everyone.
I was just like, I'm going through a lot right now. I'm just really busy. I'm working a lot. Like, I just don't have time for this, and which there was nothing wrong with them. I just genuinely didn't have the time. I really didn't have the time. And obviously our chemistry wasn't enough for me to make the time. Yeah. So I feel bad that I should have maybe specified that, but I did enjoy their company. I just didn't spend more time with them to really get to know them. So I couldn't really reject them on that personal level. Okay. It was just like, sometimes it's just that person's going through some stuff and they just, you know what I mean?
So that kind of like leads into, it's not you, it's me.
which is which some people are like, oh, you shouldn't say that, but really it is. Like, in reality, if you think about it, like with like the rejection and people being like, oh, I'm not your type, that's fine, that's a them problem, that's their loss, that's not yours. That really is it. It's not you, it's them. I think that's, I think that saying got some, I don't know what's the right word I want to use. It's not a bad saying.
It got a lot of bad attention though, especially
Yes,
because
bad
movies and
intention, but it
yeah.
really kind of is like, that is how it is when people aren't
It's
getting,
like the breakup line. I'm sorry,
yeah,
it's not me. It's not you, it's me.
exactly, which it
It's the
is to
chicken
a
ways
fault.
out, some people
I
call it
mean,
too.
to an extent, it's like there are things where, like, maybe she shouldn't have keyed his car. You know, that's a
I
it's
do.
a
I
you, not
do.
me problem. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or like, maybe you shouldn't have slept with his brother. That's again a you problem, not a me. So there's just that, it can be,
All right, let
you
me
know,
let me bring it back a little bit, okay? So once again, as I said, I think rejection is healthy. Now, when I say let me bring it back, I'm more speaking as in like, how can we get better at with rejections, right? Um, Ariel Fro, Ariel Foles, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you. I do not speak that language. I'm sorry. We speak English, brother. Sorry, brother. But welcome to the channel. Anthony Blue, welcome back, Anthony Blue. Good to see you. So, yes, as I'm saying, is that what are some ways do you think we can get better with rejection? For me personally, the way how I got better at it when it comes to dating, I did it more. I went harder and I went faster. And let me be more specific. I knew I like for example, I knew I had a problem with approaching people, right? And this, I'm not talking about online dating. Online dating is one thing, but I'm talking about seeing somebody in real life, whether they're walking on the street, whether they're at a bar or something, seeing someone in front of you. I had problems like approaching them. And then what I started doing, I just started saying hi to everyone. I literally, me and my best friend, we put ourselves in a little, like, we put ourselves, it was kind of like outside of the train station, and it was a very busy train station. So people coming in and out. All we did for like an hour was hi. Hi, that's it. At first, it felt weird. It felt people looked at us weird and all that stuff. And some people actually talked to us. But after a while, we just stopped caring.
yeah,
And you got to get to the point where you stop caring about what other people think,
yeah,
right? And then once we got that, it's also a skill. You got to practice it. If you don't practice that skill, it's no, it's kind of like your muscle. If you don't work it out, you're gonna lose the muscle frame and the muscle, whatever it's called. Yeah, you got to build it up, right? Um, Ariel, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what language that is. I wish I could. Small
it's
call.
Russian.
Yeah, it's probably Russian or something. I don't know. Sorry, brother. I speak English. So freestyle says that if they're not on the same level, um, or thinking, but are perfect in their world, or overthinking. Wait, freestyle says that last one over again. That's it. It's not you, it's me. Unless they want change to level up. Good point. Good point, freestyle. Good point. Explain that the last three thing that you said. If they're not on the same, explain that a little bit more, freestyle, and then I'll go back to you. Um, so yeah, so to go back to that, as I said, what are some things you think people can do to become better at rejection?
Just accept, we're talking like accepting people rejecting you, right? Like, you accepting rejection in general, or rejecting people.
Okay. Okay. So just accept it. All right.
Accepting. Okay. For
Um,
me, yeah, I think it goes back to that self-love. And I love how you said just dive right in. Like, I haven't always been the best with rejection, and I kind of have. I've thrown myself out there, and like, even with like being on the dating app and like meeting people, do we meet, do we hang out, like just putting myself out there. I've been very blunt on what I want, which causes rejection. I'm like, this is where I am in my life. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I want out of this relationship.
mhm,
Take it or leave it.
mhm.
A lot of people leave it. You know what I mean? And like, for me, like, that's where I've gotten better, because I'm set on what I wanted and what I want, that whatever they say in return, I don't know, it doesn't phase me in a sense. Like I'm just very, every time I'm the same. Kind of like you just kept saying, hey, hey, you just until you started natural, you know what I mean? Until you just didn't care anymore. I've been blunt on this is what I want. And then if they don't like it, you know what I mean? So just I don't know how to advise on that besides I really like how you said it. Just put yourself out there and just
All right,
continuously
I'll
do
put
it
it
till you
this
don't.
way. You, you, saying being blunt with what I want, and all that's qualifying questions. That's saying to somebody, hey, this is what I'm looking for. If that's not you, it's okay, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep it moving on. And again, don't take it personal because it's the same thing in a job interview.
Yeah.
That when you go to the job interview, in this situation, you're the interviewer, right?
Yeah.
And you're telling the person, the guy who comes up to you, like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm looking for this. There's a position in my life that I'm looking to fulfill,
Yeah.
right? I want this, right? Yes, people lie at job interviews all the time, right? They do. But you at least set your standards, you set your
Yeah.
boundaries, right? And then you go through it and you're like, you know what? I don't think this guy's for me. And you reject them. And that's fine, right? And also, another thing is how you accept rejection, right? I've learned to smile when it comes to rejecting because, again, you're not taking it seriously, right? I've I've literally had girls said to me when after a date, and they'll text me and they're like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling it. It's not for me," and I'm like, "That's cool. That's great. I wish you the best. Go do you,
Yeah.
boo boo," and they're like, "Wow,
Yeah.
you are so nice about that. I thought you were gonna be mad at me. I thought you were gonna curse me out. I thought you're like." Remember, people already have a hard time saying no,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're gonna make it harder for them, if you're gonna if they're gonna reject you and you're gonna be mean to them, that's gonna make it even more harder in the future for them to say no to people.
Yeah.
Like we gotta think bigger when it comes to rejection. Even people in relationships, right? For example, if you're in a relationship, right, and a lot of people think that hey, since we're together, you're supposed to have sex with me, right? And let's just say like, she's like, hey, not right now, but you're like, babe, you're always tired, you're always this. She already said no.
Yeah.
You didn't accept that rejection.
Yeah.
You weren't okay with that. Now you're complaining. Now you're nagging, right? And then she still says no. And then you know what happened? She gives in to you,
Yep.
right?
Oh, so many times. Yep.
So that's my thing. We gotta learn to respond to rejection because I'm telling you, especially when you're cool about it, people reject people to test each other.
Yeah.
I've literally seen like a girl will like come up to me and no, I will go up to the girl and I'll talk to her and she's like no. I'm like all right, cool, that's fine. Have a great day. And she's like, wait, that's it? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. She was like, oh no, I was just teasing. I was trying to play. Like people will test you,
Yeah.
right? So again, chat. If you have anything to talk to me about rejection, please bring it on. Sorry, Bobby. What are your thoughts?
I was reading his comment, but it wasn't coming
Which one,
through.
Billy's?
Yeah.
Billy says that is that your skill. If you're not practicing your times, it's gonna fail you. Yeah, as I
Yeah.
said, it's the same thing like working out. You got to work out to keep your muscles stronger. It's a skill. You got to practice it to keep it sharp. All right. All right. So freestyler said, so you have to be with your partner. All is fine in their mind, but you have to level up in this reality with a free spirit. That's when you can say with your head high, it's not you, it's me because you've tried and you tried. So I think he's saying that when you've done everything you can,
Yeah.
you've worked on yourself, you've leveled up your personality, you do personal development, you do your self growth, self love, and you're giving your all. Then you're like, okay, it's not me, it's
Yep.
you,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep. And that's
yes,
kind of where I was getting at with all of like the taking it, like it's, you know, it's not you, it's me.
yeah.
And sometimes what you want. And yeah, no, he put that pretty well. No,
Um,
rejection is definitely not an easy, it's even at 35, like I'm still learning, and I'm definitely handling it better now than I ever did before.
mhm.
And the only thing I can really give credit to is the way I view myself. and
Mm-hmm.
that's where I've handled it better. And I kind of have gone all in with putting myself out there to give my chance, you know what I mean? And I've been rejected, and I feel like you're always, I mean, unless you're like getting to that point where you're just like it, like you're like, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like it really doesn't bother you, which is great. Like I hopefully will level up to that point at some point in my life. Like right now I am light years ahead of where I was before I had gotten married, as far as how I dealt with rejection. um and I don't know. The only thing I can say is just it's how I view myself. And I still have things to work on, obviously. So that's when I know sometimes when that rejection hurts a little bit more, which
Mm-hmm.
it's like it can be natural, you know what I mean? Like whether someone says, you're not my type, you're too big.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, that
That
kind of
sounds very dirty, by the way. Love it. Love
no.
it. You're not my type. You're too big. Come on, chat. Come on. Sorry. Go on. Go on.
But
Go on. Go on. Go on.
I
Go
wasn't talking about that.
on. Sorry, that's where my head went too. Right away, my head
Nobody
was like,
rejects you
"Oh."
for that. No, no. But like being a bigger girl, like, I'm not everyone's type. Like some
Okay.
men like slender women, some like bigger women. And,
Yes.
I'm a bigger woman. Some men are like, you're just not my type. You're too big. And it's like, okay, that kind of
Yeah.
just a little bit, it hurts a little bit. But I'm also like, but I'm pretty the way I am. And I don't mind the way I am, and that's where it comes down to, is like, that's where you have to stop and think like, and I had been at a point where I was big and I didn't like who I was. So that rejection hurt, but it was like, well, then do something about it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? If there's something you're being rejected for, and it hurts you, then do something about it.
Which brings me into what I'm gonna say. What I'm gonna talk about, because of what you just said, is self-reflection. If if the rejection hurts, right? Rejection. When someone rejects you, right? One of the things you should look at is yourself, right? Like, am I doing something wrong, right? Which is fine. We have these self talks for ourselves, which is
Yeah.
fine, right? Now I'm gonna go back to the job interview, the job interview analogy. I start if I go to 10 job interviews and all 10 of them reject me, who's the common denominator? Me. Me, right? Now I can be ignorant and be like, "Psst, it's all of them. They're all wrong. They're all not for me." Or I can be like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. 10 different companies, 10 different things looked at me, interviewed me, talked to me, and they all said no. I have to be doing something wrong. So, which is where self reflection comes in. You start looking at yourself. You look yourself in the mirror. What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Right? Oh my God, I didn't bring a resume today. I should have to all these job interviews and did not bring a resume.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't dress properly. I'm in my workout clothes at a job interview. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like you gotta also self-reflect and look at the common denominator. Now I'm
And
not.
when you look, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna be quick. Let me go to chat real quick. Um, Dr. Demo says rejection can make you stronger and improve yourself. I agree, 100%. Um, Freestyle Healer says who wrote the couples book? Never got taught in it in school. More in movies. That's why we're doing this. That's literally why we're doing this, because I didn't have anyone to teach me about dating, relationships,
No.
and marriage and all this stuff. There was no class for that. It was
No.
all trial and error. It was all what we saw from our parents, TV shows, movies. You're correct on that. He also says rejection is a word to describe a feeling we have, right? Not experienced enough, otherwise it will be classified as a rejection. You got to put it in practice. Be the boss. I agree, 100. You do have to put rejection into practice, and it is a feeling, right? It is a feeling. So going back to what I was talking about, self-reflection. Rejection helps us in that way, where if you're like as you said, you personally, you didn't like your body at the time,
Yep.
right? And so right there you're already just self-reflected, and multiple people keep telling you certain things. You're like, wow, maybe they're correct, maybe they're not, but you're also correct that you're not going to be everybody's type, whether you're skinny or
Yeah.
whether you're thick or whatsoever like that. You're not going to be everybody's type, because I've had a lot of skinny girls tell me, oh my God, I don't think I'm your type. Like, if you seem like you like thicker girls. You seem like you like this. I'm like, what? But again, it wasn't about me. It was about them.
Yeah.
Because automatically they start self thinking like, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should be a certain image. And honest to God, I blame society on that.
Yeah.
Society puts like magazines and of like how women are supposed to look. You're supposed to have that Coca-Cola bottle shape. Like this is what a
Yep.
model is. This is the epitome of the human physical shape, right? And then you look at yourself. You're not quite there yet, and you're like, you start self-loathing yourself. You start
Yeah.
self-hating.
Well, and so I think society's getting a little bit better. At least I see like in some areas that like at bigger women coming out and being like, you are beautiful at this side. You know what I mean? There's definitely a lot more coming out to help people feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you were saying about the job interview, when you're like self-reflection, so you go to like 10 job interviews and they all reject you, and what's the common denominator? It doesn't always necessarily like, I feel like the physical aspect is what most people go to. You know, am I not pretty? Am I not good looking? Am I not this? Am I not that? Um, and sometimes you can go to all of those, and it has nothing to do with what you're not, but maybe what you're not ready for. So, like for me, for instance, I've had 6 or 7 job interviews in the last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe only a couple callbacks, but for me, it wasn't what was wrong, because I did the self-reflection, like, is it this? No, like, I'm good. This was good. This was, for me, it was like, maybe you're just not ready. Maybe I'm not ready. So I put that vibe out that I'm just really not ready for anything more. Does that make sense? Like maybe
Do you
it's
feel
not,
like you put that vibe out in the interviews and they could sense it, and that's why?
I think so, because honestly, I did a lot of self-reflecting. Like, is it this? Did I not wear it? Was I everything? You know what I mean? I go through all of the things, like trying to figure out what was wrong and why am I not getting these callbacks necessarily? And the only thing I could think of, and maybe I'm just like shallow in my head, but it was just like, maybe I'm just not ready. Like, I'm not really ready for more. And maybe some of them were wanting more. I just gave off that, you know what I mean? Because like, you don't want to beat yourself up and look into the self-reflecting part to try and nitpick, because I started doing that a little bit. Like maybe it was this, or maybe, but it was just like going through the conversations and everything. Like, no, we like had things in common. Like we laughed, everything was great. But I think it was just my vibe giving off that I just am not ready. And I feel like some people can sense that when you're just not, you know what I mean? Like that could be wrong with what's going on. Maybe you're just not ready for it. Does that make
I
sense?
do, I do. It's energy. Like
Yes.
if
Yeah.
they can feel it, they're just like, I don't know, because
Yeah.
a lot of I've seen. I'll say this, and I'll go back this. Again, I'm gonna stick with this analogy just for today. How dating and job interviewing are so much alike. I've seen people picked people for jobs not because of what's on your resume, not because of your experience, but because of energy. They literally looked at you and said, "You know what? You got a good vibe. I like your energy. I like your vibe. Welcome to
Yep.
the team." Because most of the time, that's what they're looking for. They're like, "Hey,
Yep.
I'm gonna add you into my life. I'm gonna add you onto my team, right? And I'm gonna bring you around other people. Will you mesh well with what we have right now?" And it's the same thing with dating. They're like, "Hey, I'm adding you to my life, right? Are we gonna match well? Is your energy gonna play off well off mine? You know what I said? Are you gonna make me feel happy? Like, sure, you've been in a lot of relationships, sure, you have the experience, but the number one reason why people buy into you is because they can like and trust you. Are you likable?
Yep.
Are you trustable? So it matters. It matters a lot.
Yep.
Freestyle here says, just speaking from experience, but thanks for this convo, and come out of your comfort zone. I agree. Coming out of your comfort zone is huge. What would you say
Yeah.
to that?
Um, it's a scary thing to do. Absolutely. Like I've kind of told you like where I'm at, and I'm definitely way out of my comfort zone, and it's a little like it's liberating a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
dating out of my realm of my norm is just like it's scary, but it's also just so exciting. You know what I mean? To just be doing something new. And I think it's great. I recommend it. I'm
Okay.
doing it, and it's a great feeling. Like, it's a different kind of high of just like, you know, but you got to have those zero fucks too to do it. You got to have
Yes,
zero fucks.
that's for sure.
You know,
So,
that's
what would you say? This is gonna we're gonna call this round the what's it called? The rapid fire round. Okay.
okay.
Um, let's keep it short. Let's keep it sweet. Let's keep it straight to the point.
Okay.
What's the biggest tip when it comes to rejection to get better at it? Go.
Keep doing it. Keep putting yourself out there.
Okay. Get rejected more often.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of like exactly what you're saying. I would say that's the best thing is, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, keep at it.
And what is dating like to you?
A nightmare.
Okay. No, it's okay. Talk to me. A lot of people feel that way. A nightmare.
I'm like, quick answer, nightmare. Um, it's yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But it's also, it's fun.
Okay, it's a
It's
nightmare.
fun
It's
too.
hard and it's fun.
Yeah. But,
Okay, sounds like a horror movie.
but it's like, it's,
Panda Rage, welcome back, Panda Rage. Freestyler says zero fucks is hard when you have always fucked. Okay.
that's,
Interesting way to put that. Very interesting way.
that's
Okay.
great.
What would you say is your, give me top two biggest dating tip you would share with anyone? So anyone that's watching right now and moving forward before they go on any date, before they talk to anyone, top two biggest tips.
Be assertive. Show what, that's how it is. Vocalize what you want. Be assertive on what you want. Hold your boundaries. Don't settle for less. You deserve what you want, and you should go for it. Like, don't settle for less. And I think that's really huge. I think some people just they find one little thing in someone that they like,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, they're the whole package.
Okay.
No, you want to look for all those things so that they are the whole package. Don't settle for less.
I like that.
Um,
Austin, welcome back. Austin, good to see you. Finicky Fever, welcome back. Panda Rage, I am doing good, man. Thanks for asking, brother. How's your day going so far? What's number two?
Be prepared for rejection.
Okay.
In dating, that was when I first started out, I wasn't prepared, and it's taken me a little bit, but that is one thing you have to be prepared for is rejection, because you don't get every job.
Do you think? Let me go back to that. When you said be prepared for rejection, do you think our family, our parents, did not prepare us enough for rejection? Hear me out. As a kid, you know what I'm saying? Especially when we're raising kids. Some moms, not all moms, some moms are like, you're the most beautiful kid in the world. You're the best kid ever. You're the best. Nobody's better than you. They're like, I love you, right?
Yeah.
So they shower you with love, with gratification, with validation, right?
Yep.
And then you go out there to the real world, and a friend or a stranger like, damn, you're ugly. They're like, damn, oh God, you're a terrible person. But mom told me I'm good. No, you're a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, do you feel like parents overshower sometimes and not honest?
Yeah. I mean, well, there should be validation. I'm learning that with my kids right now, and she deals with a little bit of bullying. And then she's like looking for validation from others. And I was like, okay, that was my bad, because I made her, you're the most beautiful girl. You're the best at this. And you know what I mean? But like, we're working now on the fact that she needs to validate herself. It doesn't matter what, you don't need that validation from anyone else. She needs to validate herself. And we have conversations. Not everyone's going to like you, so that's just how it is. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And like, no, you're not the greatest at this. She plays awful on her violin sometimes.
I love how you just lowered your tone right there. That was great.
I think he's downstairs, but like, it's awful sometimes. And I'm like, that's okay. You're not great. You takes practice. It takes practice to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like other people are really good at things right off the bat, or their parents are like, oh, you're so good at that, and they really suck at it.
Yeah.
No, you gotta, practice makes perfect. So I'm very good at, like, I think, yeah, parents should let their kids know and raise them in a point of, like, one, they need validation from themselves, not from mom, not from dad, not from whoever.
Yeah.
They need to validate themselves and also be honest. You suck at that, so let's get better.
Okay. Okay. Um, that
Probably too honest with my kids sometimes.
no. Is there such a thing though? I mean,
Sometimes.
okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
They don't need to know everything about mom, but sometimes they get more than they ask for.
Okay. Final thoughts. Any final thoughts on the show? Again, you can say anything whatsoever. Likes, dislikes, anything you want to elaborate a little bit more on. Talk to me.
I think this was great. I love what you're doing and giving people an out to, like, just to be able to ask questions on things that they don't know, and to be able to watch something, just a normal, like, human interactions, perspectives, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think this was great. Even for me, like, I learned the way you put rejection and kind of that different wording, I was like, okay, like, I just never, like, the job interviews, like, you don't ever get what you don't get every job that you ask for. So for me, I learned a few things from you and listening, so I appreciate that. And I enjoyed this very much. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Orlando, welcome back. Orlando, welcome back. Guys, if you have any questions, anything more for any questions for us, ask now. How about this? Let's share one thing with the chat. Give me your biggest rejection moment. I'll go, and then because I want y'all to know that. Listen, chat. Believe it or not, okay. As good looking as I am, I get rejected too. I know, I'm freaking awesome, right? I'm so great. But believe it or not, even me, Creg, the Rock, the great one, I get rejected too. Okay? Let me see. Let me think. What's one of my biggest rejections? I mean, like, I've been ghosted before multiple times, right? I tried not to be the guy that texts you too much, but then if I send like 2 or 3 messages and I realize you still haven't responded, I figured I'm being ghosted, right?
Which is the worst.
Yeah.
I wish people would just say something,
Ooh. Okay, David, hold on. I wish my dad's first wife was my actual mom and not his second wife. I think I could have been better. And my dad's first wife had been one to run into as well. Whoa. David, that's hitting heavy, David. That's hitting heavy. David, if you ever want to talk about that off stream, I'm always down for that for sure. I'm here. If you have any questions about rejection whatsoever, even if it comes to your parents or whatsoever, because rejection, we're just talking about it on whole. Yes, we can talk about it in dating format, but we're just talking about it on whole. Please feel free to ask me. All right. Biggest rejection story. All right. How about this? I'll share one in high school. So, in high school, I used to be all about big romantic gestures, right? And I remember it was coming down to the end of the year. I think it was like December something, and then we had maybe 1 or 2 more days left for school. And we're going into a brand new year. So I'm like, you know what? Let me shoot my shot. I'm trying to listen to Michael Jordan. I'm trying to listen to all these motivational speakers where they're like, you miss 100% of the shot you don't take. So I'm like, screw it. Let me take my shot. Also, which I think is super important. Chat, this goes for you, Bobby, and this goes for the whole chat. Which hurts more? Regret or rejection? Which hurts more? Not taking a shot, not seeing how it could work out, or the fear of rejection?
Regret.
Because fact of the matter is this. When it comes to rejection, at the end of the day, the bottom line, no is the worst thing that person or thing could say to you. No.
Yep.
But no is still an answer.
Yep.
So,
It's the not answers that hurt, like the ghosting. I rather know why you're doing it than not know. You know what I mean? And so it's like, no, I'd say the regret of being like, I should have done that. So you spend the rest of your life like, what if I would have? What if I did? Versus like, oh, well, I mean, I did, and this was the result. But you got to learn to handle it with grace, though, because sometimes you're like, people handle it with like, I should have never done that because they told me no, and I'll never take a chance. You know what I mean? It's just like, no, they could have said yes.
Okay.
There was people that I was like, they would have said no, and I asked them, and they said yes, and it was like, what?
So regret hurts
Really?
more.
I think so.
Okay.
For me.
Finicky says regret. Freestyle says regret. David, Austin, Billy, what about you guys? Kathy, what about you guys? What hurts more, regret or rejection? And I swear to God, I think that if you keep that in the back of your head, what hurts more, regret or rejection? I swear to God, I feel like your perspective in life is going to be so much more better. Yes, the opportunity that's lost. The freaking opportunity. So, like, this is so freaking nuts. Like, last Sunday.
Live life with regret.
Yes. Like, Sunday that just went by, I said to myself, yo, I wanted more time with my daughter, so I'm not going to go on this job interview. Right? Which seems like pretty good, but at the same time, I kind of need a job. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, do I regret not going on this interview? And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It's bothering me that I gave up an opportunity. It bothers me that this opportunity was lost. So what I'm gonna do this week, I'm just gonna show up. I'm gonna show up like, yo, y'all still hiring? No? Cool, but I'm here. Can I talk to somebody? I'm here. I'm physically here. Right? Regret hurts. Regret sucks. Regret is terrible. Jiffer 1997, what up? Welcome to the channel. All right. So that's it for rejections. I'm just gonna throw some different topics at you. We're still in the rapid fire, right? We don't need to go into super long tangents, but just like now, I'm asking you questions on a woman's perspective.
Okay.
All right. Who pays the bill?
Who pays the bill?
First date specifically.
And
why? And chat, this goes for you, chat. On a first date, who pays the bill and why?
So I have a couple different answers, and it just depends on your situation. Quickly, one, if it's someone my own age, I offer to like go halvesies on the bill if they want. Like I was like, I'll take care of mine. Like I don't want to feel obligated that if you take care of it, that I owe you something. Like I'm my own person. I have my own money. I'd be happy to pay my own share. So I'm totally fine with like, I don't expect a man to buy me dinner. If you say, hey, I want to take you to dinner, then obviously he's buying dinner. But if I'm like, hey, let's go to dinner and we go to dinner, I'll go halvesies on it. If I'm taking someone younger than me out to dinner, I tend to pay because I want to show that I'm doing good. I'm doing good and I can take care of the people that I'm dating.
So you're flexing.
A little bit.
Chat. Is this what you call simping? Are you?
Maybe.
You'll be simping a little bit.
A little bit. So
okay. And you flexing. What does that say to the guy? What message are you trying to say? Like, hey, I can take care of you, or you want to take care of me, and should I expect this moving forward?
For me, it's just more like, it's like I'm my own woman. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need a man. I don't need you. I want you. I want you here in my life. I want you here at this dinner. I want you. I don't need you. So this is for me showing you that I don't need you, but I want you. And this is what
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. So David, let me go back to this. David says, rejection hurts more, especially if you were feeling as though your partner might give you the impression that they like you, when in fact they might be inadvertently setting you up for rejection. Okay. So, David, if what I'm hearing is this, rejection hurts more, which is fine. You're not wrong. That's your feelings. That's your view. You're not wrong. You'd rather not know. Right? Because regret is you want to know the outcome, right? You're going to take a chance, you're going to shoot your shot, and you want to know. Rejection hurts more because, as you said, especially if you feel like your partner is giving the wrong impression. So you feel like you're being lied to. And says, how do you read that? How do you read that?
For me, I'm thinking what he's saying is that it hurts because he thought that, like, if the person gives you the impression that they like you, and then they might not really, and they're just setting you up for rejection. Like, someone obviously made him think that they liked him and they didn't, and then they rejected him. Which I could see, yes, that hurts. That's a hurting situation to be rejected like that.
Yeah.
But would you have rather not been out with that person at all, or gotten to know them at all, and not known what could have happened, and sat there at home being like, what if I didn't do that? What if I never asked them out? What if I did ask them out? And I sit there with the what ifs and the what ifs, versus now you know that they weren't interested. They gave you the wrong impression. It sucks. It hurts. But at least you know, like you said, the outcome, versus
some people are okay with the what ifs. Some people are okay with that.
And I think that's just, maybe it's different types of people. Some people it is, they are good with the what ifs, and some are like us where it's like, I'd rather know than not know, because what ifs drive me nuts. They drive me crazy. Yeah, I can't
especially
do
after ghosting. You ask yourself a lot of what ifs. Okay, so to go back to our question, who pays? I'll start with Panda Rage. Panda Rage says, whoever asks the other out should pay. Or it depends on their self. Sometimes both people want to pay their own meals. Okay. Freestyle Healer says, whoever don't make the other laugh as much. The other. Basically, if you're not funny, you gotta pay the bill.
You gotta pay the bill. That's a good way to look at it. I mean,
I've never heard that before.
Oh my gosh. I might have to try that next time. Be like, buddy, you didn't make me laugh. You're getting the whole bill. I'll leave the tip.
Like, here you go. This belongs to you. Just slide that over. Oh my God. Fatai, welcome to the channel. Fatai, welcome. Fatai says social media and dating apps makes rejection so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're swiping and you're not seeing them match with you, that's constant rejection. That's a good way to get yourself out there and see.
That's why I say, like, rejection in real life and rejection on dating apps are so different.
Yeah.
It's like, it's easier on dating apps. It's so easy to go on Match. It's so easy to click that X. It's so easy when somebody likes you to, like, you see the picture. No. Right? Wait. So let me ask you, Bobby. Do you get emotionally invested when you say no to all these people on these dating apps?
Like swiping?
Yeah.
I don't know them. I don't know them personally. Like, I'm just like, and it's obviously it's all superficial to be swiping on what people look like. You know what I mean? I mean, that's essentially what you're doing.
But that's how life is too. In real life, if we see someone that's attractive that we like, we're gonna approach them. So you approach is like swiping right. You're not approaching. You like, no, I'm not feeling it. It's swiping left, right? Yeah. So
I'm not good at the in person though. The last guy I approached that I was interested in, I ended up like friend zoning because I was too afraid to not gonna lie, I was too afraid of the answer. So I just straight up friend zoned him, and we're great friends.
Wait. Did you friend zone him or you friend zone yourself?
I think I friend zoned myself and him because I don't know what the outcome would have been.
No, you friend zoned yourself.
Because I'd rather, for me, it was like I'd rather had a friendship with him because he was such a cool person and I really enjoyed him that I didn't want to risk it with the. Yeah, I still wonder. I'm still in that what if, but what if I
shot my shot with him?
What if I shot my shot? And I feel like I've dropped little hints here and there, but not enough to where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to take this friendship for what it is because I really do enjoy his company.
I'm going to call you out right now because let's be honest, right? Multiple times, guys shoot their shot, right? And then it doesn't work out. And then somebody, most likely the girl, says, "Oh, but we can still be friends, though." So you're getting the friend zone either way.
I don't think we would be friends.
But why would
I think it'd make it awkward. I think it's different. I think guys can handle that, but as a woman, I can't handle being a friend knowing that I don't know. I can't.
Wait, wait,
I
wait,
can't
wait.
do it.
You can't handle being in a friend zone, but women put guys in a friend zone all the time.
I
So
know because you guys handle it better than us. I mean,
because we're
I can't. I'm like, I'm angry. I'm like, you friend zoned me. Like, we could have been so much more. And then I hold on to that. Like,
so what you're saying is that women handle rejection a lot worse than guys do because we're
probably.
constantly being rejected. You're
Yeah.
not. Because
You're used to being into the friend zone. I'm not.
so wait. If you know the friend zone is not a nice place, it's a terrible place. Why do
It's
you
not
put
a bad.
Why do you put people there though?
But see, I don't. Like, when I know a guy likes me like that, we're not friends. Because you can't just be friends. And that's not fair to them. Like, I don't want to be there, like, when I don't know.
Is there anyone in your friend zone right now? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, but I don't want him to be there.
Again, no guy wants to be in the friend zone.
I
No
don't
guy.
I don't want him to be in the friend zone, but we are friend zoned. But no, I don't really. I can't think of like a guy that we're friends that we like. I have lots of guy friends and we're friends, but like there's no chemistry. There's no like maybe they feel like they're friend zoned.
All right, let me put a pause pin on that, and then we'll come back. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick, okay? Okay. Panda Reach says that all day rejection apps. So Panda Reach is a huge fan of rejection apps. Then okay, no, it's a huge fan of the apps. Finicky says, I regret not knowing things about myself, which would allow me to know. Wait, what? Are you seeing this? What Finicky
Yeah, I
says?
regret not knowing things about myself, which would allow to know myself better enough to know my hidden potentials as well as my hidden limits. I would have chosen my friends and associate trustees more wisely. Worthy associates are less likely to reject me. I guess it's saying like maybe something like she's not knowing, or he or she, I'm not sure, doesn't know themselves enough to be able to like read people, because if she would have known herself better, then she could have read those people a little bit better, is what I was kind of getting. Like,
Finicky, do you mind rephrasing that sentence a little bit, if you don't mind? Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't really understand it very well. Do you mind rephrasing it? Yes. So, okay. Going back to the whole friend zone and rejection, right? Another name for the friend zone is the rejection zone. Yeah.
And that you want to stay in that person's life so much that you're willing to stay in that friend zone,
and you know who,
just to have them in your life.
Agreed. And the people in that rejection zone automatically become orbiters. And as I said, orbiters are people who circle around you, waiting for an opportunity. Just waiting for you to reach out, waiting for you to break up with that person. And
that's gotta be awful too, to be that. I couldn't, and that's why I can't do the friend zone. Like, I can't, if you reject me, we can't be friends, because I don't want to be an orbiter. Like, that seems so much more hurtful to be like in that than to just be like, you know.
But also remember, that's what they said. Rejection is a feeling. If you can put your feelings to the side, you can be friends.
I'm a woman, though. Come on now. There's no fucking putting my feelings to the side. Are you kidding me? No. I friend zoned a guy I like because I don't want to hear the rejection, because I want us to be friends. Like, we can't be friends if he rejects me. So I'd rather not know so that we can stay friends, because I enjoy this person's company. So the point is, in all of this, is if you like someone enough but you're not sure, like, just don't even shoot your shot. Just be friends. Accept them in your life. Hold on to them. Enjoy that, what you can for it. But
you told me you still wonder what if.
I don't. I feel like it'll happen if it's gonna happen. If it's meant to happen with him, then something will something will happen. But right now, I'm enjoying that friendship because that's what I really wanted from him.
Okay.
More than the relationship.
Okay.
I want the relationship, absolutely, because we have such a stellar friendship.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just going to enjoy what I have, because the minute I shoot my shot, or if he were to and I weren't interested, then that would make things awkward, and then we would lose that friendship. And I value that so much more than
That's fair.
the more.
That's fair to say. What do you have to say about what David says? You're gonna want to hold this one up. I think so, David. I think yes. That's a yes for me, David.
What's back dating?
Back to back.
Oh. I mean, because it's kind of like, then you just continuously are getting rebounds. Like, are you just continuously dating rebounds kind of thing? Is that what we're...
Fatai, I'm gonna get to you shortly, Fatai, but let me go back to David real quick. All right, let me see if I can break it down. It says, Bobby, let me ask you this: do you think that back-to-back dating debacles can potentially permanently traumatize someone like myself to never want to date anymore or again? And to be more specific, having moved in 1995 after knowing my closest girlfriend for nearly 2 years and then deliberately used. So, to put simple, he's been hurt back-to-back times, right? On multiple occasions, right? He's been is the pain of constantly hurt enough to stop somebody or traumatize someone to not date anymore? Because what did I ask you? What do you describe dating as? You're like, nightmare. Right?
Yeah.
If dating is a nightmare, why would you want to keep doing it? Why would you want to put yourself back out there to experience that?
Because I want my happy ending one day. And I'll find my happy ending.
But we just talk about that you can be happy being single. So who says you have to date to be happy?
But it's lonely. That was the point. Like, I'm happy.
We did say that. We did say that's one of the...
Alone. So, like, it's a different... I still want my partner. I still want my person to grow old with.
Okay.
You know, I want someone to take care of me when I'm old.
But did you hear what you say? I want my happiness one day. So, do you... your happy ending. Okay, yeah. So do you associate your happy ending with being with someone, with being not alone? Like
my happy with a partner. I'm living my life right now, and I am happy. My children are healthy. I'm happy. Okay. I'm working. I take care of myself. I'm happy.
Happy is different, but you said happy ending. So,
happy ending with my human. Like, yes. Everyone wants their person. Everyone wants to have that person that they're with.
Okay.
And so I continuously throw myself out there more and more and more, because like I want to find that someday. So, you know what I mean?
Do you have to have a partner to have your happy ending?
For me, I think they're two different things. I have my happy ending, which is where I'm at right now, which is I am an independent woman. I take care of myself. I love myself for the first time ever. And I am happy with that. But there's that other part of me that wants my happy ending, like that fairy tale with a person.
Okay.
So if I were to never have anyone, I would still live a happy life. I have children. I love myself, and I'm happy with that. So if I never found anyone, you know, as long as I'm still doing me and being happy being single, then I'm happy. So, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. So to go back to what David says, to put in simpler terms, right? If you're being hurt, let's just say you go to two relationships, two major relationships, and you're hurt, both times, right? Like, as you told me, you've been in 2 marriages, right? And I don't know if they were back to back. I don't know if there was like a lot of time in between, but in 2 marriages. How do you feel about going into a third one? There you go. So that's what David is. That's what I think David is asking. He's asking, going through those debacles.
Can it traumatize you to never want?
Yes.
Never date anyone again. So I don't necessarily want to get married again, because for me that's just that's a piece of paper. But I would never. It all hurt, and all the heartbreak hurts, and I'm at a point where I'm still healing from my divorce, from that heartbreak. But I'm not willing to not ever date again. I'm not willing to still try and find my person, because I think we all have someone out there who is meant for us. And if we stop looking, then some people say if you stop looking, they'll find you. But you know what I mean? If you were to just give up and never give love a chance again, that can be lonely. You know what I mean?
I do. I do.
So I definitely think it can be hard. It can hurt, and you can want to take a break from dating and not want to, but like, don't give up on love.
Okay. I like that. You hear that, David? Don't give up on love. Freestyle Healer, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I understand that you have to go to bed. I appreciate it. A few of Freestyle's comments, he says that you girls love it. You girls love it. All the orbiters waited. It's not on the screen, but it's on one of my chats. He says girls love orbiters, to put simple. You guys like having someone constantly like around where they're like, you know what? Listen, if it doesn't work, I like you still being there, you know, as a backup plan. That's what orbiters are. They're backup plans.
See, I guess maybe I'm just a different person, because I had guy friends who were kind of like that, and it hurt the worst knowing that they had feelings for me and I didn't for them. And that was really, really hard.
That's you being empathetic about it. You're putting yourself in their place, but obviously they can choose not to have feelings for you and move on and try with somebody else. But if they choose to keep themselves, here's the thing about rejection zone. Even though you might put them in there, the person who got rejected chooses to stay in there. You can get out. You can get out, but yeah, like that. Yeah, there's two ways to get out of rejection zone: be with the person, or actually just walk away from the damn situation. You can get out. So, right?
They're waiting to get their shot. They're waiting for their. And that's good on them.
Yeah. Freestyle also says where you learn and talk about stuff you know with your ex. He says, I'm going to sleep, but listening to your show. Both beautiful people can relate to both. Good night. Thank you so much. Women want long connections. Men want many connections. Women want long connections, and men want many connections. In short, and again,
very true.
What that means to me, women want relationship, men want multiple relationships.
Yeah,
that's what that says to me. Fatai, thank you so much for being patient. We're gonna get to you what you said. Fatai says, I don't accept rejection. Right? It's probably a little bit up. Yeah, it's right there on the screen. You should be able to see it.
Yep.
I don't accept rejection. I have so many girls' numbers on my phone that I have failed, and they live forever on my phone as a memory of those failures. It's a numbers game after all. I do agree that with rejection, it's a numbers game. Me personally, I see no need to keep their numbers in my phone. That's just me, because I know myself. Chances are I'm going to reach out to you. If I'm drinking, I'm going to shoot my shot again. I'm telling you.
I do it every weekend.
There you go. There you go. It's just facts. Listen, every now and then I get a bright idea. I'm like, you know what? I think this is what I did. Now I know how to get her out. Now I know how to win her over. I can't be trusted.
Sometimes
with
it works. Sometimes it works. I did that a few weeks ago with a guy that I was into, and I did a drunken dial, and I hadn't talked to him in weeks, and so we reconnected again. Here's the problem with this: we reconnected again, and it was super cute, and it brought me back to like when we first met, and I was like, oh my goodness, and we hooked up again. And then you know what he did the next day?
Ghosted.
He ghosted me. So should leave their number. You know, there's a reason they're not there anymore.
Did you feel like you learned your lesson? Or you're just like, damn, I didn't learn the lesson the first time.
I did. I recently deleted a guy's number who like just didn't answer my message, just like kind of left me on red or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And then I was like, okay, just leave it. Wait for him to unfriend you. Wait, no, fuck it. I deleted him off my thing.
Fuck it.
Deleted him because I was like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah.
We're not having a repeat of the other dude.
If you know yourself and you can't trust yourself, just do it. Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm gonna go back more into what Fatai has to say. Let me address Finicky. Okay. Well, it's a long one. Are you able to see what Finicky says?
Let's see. Oh wow, yep. I just realized what time it was.
Yeah. Sorry, we're towards the end. This is just the part where we talk to the chat and all that stuff. David, I'm gonna answer your question afterwards. David, don't worry, I got you, my brother. Finicky. Okay, so Finicky says, I regret not knowing things about myself better, especially in high school years. Would allow me to know myself better enough to know my hidden potential socially, economically. I get that. As well as my naively unrecognized limits. Okay. I would have chosen my friends and associates and confidence more wisely. I feel you. We all tend to make better decisions the more we grow up. Like experiences teaches us, life teaches us, so I get that for sure. Those who know your value, your worth, are worthy of your companionship, which is true. Like I've said this before, Finicky, you don't choose your family, but you do choose your friends. And honestly, guys, sometimes some of your friends are like family, or they're even worth more than family, right? Sometimes, right? So yeah, knowing your worth is very important, and choosing the people who you hang around with is even more important because they are a reflection of you. Your top 5 friends, the top 5 people you talk to the most, you are an average of them, right? You ever hear that saying?
Extension.
Yes. You ever hear the saying, and I'm sure we all have. My mom used to be like, I don't like your friends. I don't trust your friends. Your friends are this, your friends are that. And I'm like, I don't care. They're like, your friend does drugs, your friends do this and that. I'm like, cool, but I'm not doing it. But what I didn't realize is that who they are is going to rub off on me little by little. Their actions, their words, all that thing. My interaction with them, I'm soaking up something from them. So that's why I said the top 5 people you hang around with the most, you're taking things from them, right? And you are the average of them. So I get that tremendously. So you're saying worthy associates are less likely to reject you. Fixed regret, you may get rejected. Proof, protection. Plus what? I don't understand the last part.
So I think, honestly, what I'm getting is that he's saying that he's like regrets not knowing things about himself because he could have been able to better prepare. How was I was gonna word it with that he could choose people more worthy, less to reject him. If he knew more about himself, then he would have chose more wisely with the people, so that he would have avoided the rejection. So like a proof protection, you know what I mean? Rejection proof. Like if he was better at knowing things about himself, he's got a mix of what we were talking about, both rejection and regret. Like it's a double-edged sword kind of thing. You know, he regrets not knowing more things about himself, so that he could have been better at choosing people, so that less likely for him to be rejected.
Okay, that makes sense.
Does that make sense? Like if he was better at knowing things about himself, he could have picked people that would have less likely rejected him. But the thing is you can know people all day long. You know what I mean? I had a friend of 20 years, trusted her with my everything, and she hooked up with my baby daddy. You just never know. You know what I mean? Like people can surprise you. It's just, you can try and listen to your intuition when you're meeting people and getting to know, but you never know. You know what I mean? Like people surprise you left and right. Like that was a surprise for me. Like that was my biggest, like, you never know who you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just don't regret anything that you didn't know about yourself. Just keep doing you. Like, and you learn from those, and you learn to read people a little bit better. Over the years, I've learned a little bit better to get to know people and like to read them. But even then, they'll still surprise you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to David now. Are you able to see what David says, or no, it's just
It hasn't popped up.
it was a little bit before, but I'll read it.
Oh,
Um,
let me go.
it popped up, but because it's not enough on the screen.
Okay.
So David says, "Well, Rock, like I told you, um, yeah, well, like I told you, Rock, how I'm still a virgin, as well as living with a relative. Okay, with no law troubles, perhaps and hopefully I'll receive a reward in heaven greater than having a relationship with someone else who may have same interests as I do. In the case of, wait, as I do the case with Alice Little." Okay, so to paraphrase, he said, "Rock, as you know, I'm a virgin and I live with my family, and I haven't gotten into trouble or anything like that. So hopefully he'll get like a reward." And I'm gonna say it again, David. Look at me when I say this, David. Look at me. It is not a bad thing to be a virgin, and it's not. And I told you this the last time. Fuck what society says. Fuck whatever image they put on people or about being a virgin, because you're with society you can't win. Like you are on two. There's two spectrums. There's two parts of the spectrums, right? It's either when you're not having sex or you're having too much sex. You have too much sex, you're a hoe. You're
Mm-hmm.
you're you're a player. You're tainted. You're dirty. You're a dirty dog. You're a fuck boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not having a lot of sex. Oh, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? You're not desirable enough. You're really you can't fucking win,
Yeah.
right? So fuck that. Nothing wrong with that. Now when it comes to heaven, uh, listen, we all know heaven's going to be an amazing place for sure, but I'm not the best person to talk about that. I'm still trying to get into heaven. I've done some questionable stuff, all right? So, like, hopefully we can meet there for sure. All right? And then we can definitely sit down and talk for a very long time, all right?
Yep.
I'm still trying to get my card up there, man. Like, all right? All right, so what do you think? What do you have to say about that?
I think to have your virginity is a rarity. You're like a unicorn. There's not many out there. And I think that
Which
if
makes it
that's
more
what you're
valuable, right? As
yeah,
a
so I think
unicorn.
if that's what you're choosing to do, then hold on to that and know that you're a fucking gem. You're a rare thing in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And you hold on to that because there are not many out there. And so I think you should appreciate, yeah,
All right, now let me
like that.
ask you. I'm gonna be straight up. Bobby, would you be with a virgin?
Yeah, they'll love me forever. That boy ain't ever going nowhere. Fucking kidding me? I've been waiting for a virgin. Are you like, that's all I need? Like that fucker will fall. Do you remember your first? Did you fall for your? I fell for my first hard. Absolutely. I'm like waiting for one. I was hoping the boy that's my friend is a virgin because I was like, man, if I just did it, then he'll be hooked for life. Fuck yeah. I would get married a third time to nail that virgin if need be. I will teach him everything he needs to know. No fucking qualms, no worries at all. Please.
So, in other words, it's very attractive to be a virgin.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. Some people are like, no, but for me at my age, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I'm tired of these men who think they know what they're doing and they have no idea what they're doing. I'd love someone that I can just show you, hey, this is my body, this is how it works. Let's communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please. I would, for me personally, yes.
Mm-hmm. Fatai says we have a biological and reproductive need to be involved with another human. I think he's going back to the whole rejection thing. Fatai, I would love to get you on here, Fatai, if you want, because Fatai is actually my friend, right? And we were talking. We were talking about a little bit about rejection as well. Right, he says, even when you had sex, any long-term abstinence after will still make you feel the same feelings as a virgin. So there shouldn't be too emotional involved. Do you see what Fatai says?
Mm-mm. Mine's not going past the one.
Oh, give it a second. Give it a second. It's gonna. There's just always a little bit of a delay, but you'll definitely see.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. I need to run to the bathroom real quick. If you need to run to the bathroom, feel free to go as well.
Yes. Can I?
Yeah. Let's do a quick
Yeah.
bathroom break and we'll come back. Chat,
Okay.
we'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back. I gotta pee. All right, my check. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm good. I'm ready. Give her a second. She'll be back shortly. Man, guys. How's everybody doing tonight, man? Fatai, what's going on, man? Fatai, what do I gotta do to get you up in here, bro? And guys, I stole a piece of chicken. My family is mad about it, but I stole a piece of chicken. That's delicious. It's very delicious. Fatai, talk to me, brother. What we gotta do?
Oh yeah, my kids were just asking me. They're like, "Mom, what are we doing for dinner?" I was like, "Shit, yeah, let's make some." My daughter's gonna make dinner tonight, so.
I just stole a piece of chicken from my kitchen. No, it's not KFC, David. It's not KFC. It's just regular fried chicken. I have
Probably
a bad
better
habit.
than KFC.
Yeah. I like to steal food and just run back to streaming. Okay, chat. Let me come back to you guys real quick. Okay, hold on. And I'm gonna extend this out. And now we're good to go. Okay, Fatai, we're gonna go back to you. Was there food in my bathroom? No. I peed in the bathroom that went stuck in the kitchen. Okay, so Fatai says even when you had sex, any long-term abstinence after will make you feel the same feelings as a virgin, which is fair. So you shouldn't be too emotionally involved. David, can you imagine?
For a woman, like, which I didn't realize until like kind of hearing more about it, is we were talking about like the endorphins that are released and the oxytocin, like that creates a bonding. Mm-hmm. So the minute, and that's not just the sex, that's what comes, the orgasming from it creates those endorphins and everything, which creates that bond. So every time like a woman per se has sex and comes, like she is bonding to that person. Mm-hmm. So it can feel like it's hard to not be emotionally involved when you're having, you know what I mean, all this stuff going through you. And like some women, like I like to refer to, like there's a couple men that I've come across that was like an addiction. You know what I mean? Like you just.
All right. So let me go. Let me ask you this question then. All right, and this goes for everyone as well. Why is it okay, right, in society when women have more sex, they're hoes, right? And when men have more sex, they're players, right? So it seems for men it's more desirable. They're like, oh, you've had sex more than once. You've had sex more than this. Great, you see like a more desirable partner. And a woman that has more sex does not. So let me go back into what you just talked about. You talk about bonding. When a woman has sex, she's bonded more. She's having that emotional attachment.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's bonded, like a woman who's a quote unquote hoe, who's bonding constantly with multiple people over and over and over again, who is being physically attached to someone over and over again. But for men, when men have sex, it's not so much more about bonding.
No.
It's more about a release. It's just more of a sexual release. Like I've seen guys and I know people who are like, yo, I love my wife, but they'll go and have sex with a stranger and it means nothing to them. But they love their wife. Right? So tell me a little bit more about that.
For me personally, my view on that is like, I think society had made it over the years of how women should be versus how men are allowed to be. And so that's why some women feel so wrong for what they're doing. And then I think it's also a preference on the person. Like some people can get that high and that release as a woman and not have the emotional, like, yes, all those endorphins and things that create bonding happen.
Yeah.
But they can like compartmentalize those feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I think some can, and like, just take it as like a night out drinking kind of thing, you know, like this was fun, but we don't do this every day. You know what I mean? Like you have that. So I think society made it where it's, I don't know why women are hoes and men are players. You know what I mean?
But I guess it's the value of sex then, because sex
and maybe why women don't do it as much either, because it is such a bonding thing. So you don't do it as much. And those who can, women don't understand the fact that they can do it non-emotionally. So maybe, you know what I mean? Like some women can do it non-emotionally and majority of women do bond. And we're like, we don't do that very much. We don't understand it. So what do? They shamed the women who could do it.
Good point.
Because they couldn't do it themselves.
Yes. So,
you know,
in short, sex is valued very differently between men and women, right?
Yeah.
Sex has a higher value for women than it does for men. And you hear this saying multiple times. Women choose who they want to have sex with. Men take whoever they can have sex with. Right?
But I think there are just as many rare men out there who can, that do bond with women too. Like there are men who sleep with women and get attached immediately. You know, like I think it's just there's a majority of us are this way, you know what I mean? But there are the few between men and women who can be different. You know, like I can have unemotional sex. I'm attempting to do this, and there are times where it's like, okay, there's not, and then there's times where it's like, oh, I'm in love, you know, but it's like you're not. It's just that feeling of what we were talking about afterwards, how men can just be like, that shows how they really feel after.
Yeah.
Like women can be the same way, like, oh, this was, you know, you feel this feeling, but once you release, it's like, oh, well, it's not really love. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it can be a clarity moment for women as well.
Okay.
I feel like,
which goes back to the post-nut syndrome thing, right? Like, is it love? Is it not love?
Yeah.
Right? Which is why, again, listen, my God, sex is the key, man. Sex is literally the key. Because, like, listen to what you told me tonight. Like, I don't know you, but just listen to what you told me. We talked about the first guy that ghosted, right? You know, like, you guys hooked up, and then he disappeared. And then we talked about the second guy who you text him when you were drunk, and then you guys bonded. It felt like this, like how it used to be. It felt great, and then hooked up, and then he's gone.
I got my fix.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted. I was wanting my fix.
There you go. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, sex is it's huge. It's like you learn people's true intentions. Yeah. When it comes to sex, right? And also, just going back to the whole theory where we're talking about like sex is more valuable when it comes to women. Fact of the matter, it is. It is. It's like we don't like it. You know, we're fighting. Women are fighting for equality. We really don't like it, but at the same time, it's like sex is not equal when it comes to
Yeah.
man and woman, right?
Men
It's
are from Mars and women are from Venus. Isn't that how it goes? I mean, like, legit, we are different biologically. We are different in so many ways, as much as we want to be the same. And some of us can be the same. There are women who can fuck like men do and not give a shit.
yeah,
Not many, but
not
majority
many.
of us,
Yeah,
we are different beings.
agreed. And when we're speaking right now, we're not speaking for the exceptions, right? We're speaking for the majority.
Yeah.
Right, so that's to hit that chat. Let me go to chat real quick, okay? So Finicky says, research I once came across showed that women collect and store DNA containing materials in their brain fluid, and originates from each man they sleep with. I'm stunned. Okay, so basically, I think what he's saying is that the more people you sleep with, you are collecting DNA materials, brain fluid originates. Finicky, what language do you speak, Finicky? Like, what's your first language, if you don't mind to ask? I want to see maybe if you speak another language and you can speak fluent in that and I can translate it. I'll put it in Google
That
and then
might be what he's
translate it.
trying to do.
Huh?
That might be what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Like maybe they speak it and they go to Google Translate and then just try because it's not translating completely properly. Okay, so David says that for Thai, no, it's not the same. Who'd want to eat a fruit when someone else has taken a bite? Okay. I think he's talking about the virginity, right? So Fatai said that, when you haven't had sex in a long time and you have the abstinence and you come back, it's the same feelings. But David is like, no, it's not. Virginity is a unblemished, uneaten fruit, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess Fatai is saying that, oh, let's just say you took a bite, but you haven't touched it in a long time. You waited a year, you waited blah, 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 and you go back and you eat it. It's not going to be the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. Like, if you're the person taking the bite or you're the one that's being bitten, if you're the fruit, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you're the fruit, like, things are different. But, like, I mean, that's a tough one. I think it is. I don't know if I could ever say that it's like being a virgin all over again every time I've gone forever. You know what I mean? Because to me, it's like riding a bike. I didn't forget, like but I can see how it could maybe release those emotions of the first time again. I know personally the first person I was with after my ex-husband, when I'd been with the same person for so many years, that was it was new. The same nerves were there, the same, unknowns. What are they going to think? What about this? What if, all these different things of like when it's your first time again. We all got nervous our first time. Like, so many questions we ask ourselves after our first time. So I definitely think there are times where we can feel like it's the first time again. For me, that felt like, there's so many what ifs or what, you know what I mean? The questioning everything was very much like the first time again.
Let me add on to that topic about sex, right? So would you say women in general, sex equals your value? Because fact of the matter is this: one of the number one things that guys are chasing is sex, right? No matter if they want to be with you, no matter if they love you and all that stuff, they're chasing sex, right? Do you feel like if you're giving up the sex, you lose value? Like, do women lose their value after sex? And chat, that goes out to you too.
Don't feel like I lose my value, but there definitely is a thing where I think men see less as a value. You know what I mean? Like, once, like, you know what I mean? Not that I haven't lost any value, you know what I mean? But like
internally, you don't feel like you've lost anything of value.
No.
Okay.
But they see it as like maybe they've already won, the chase is over. Because they always tell you, like, don't sleep with them, let them, keep them coming. Because once you sleep with them, they're not going to want to, they already got it, so the game's over.
Yeah, which sucks though, because that plan does not also work.
No.
Don't sleep with them, right? Cool. But you don't know what a person really wants until you sleep with them. Because
Yeah.
even if you keep the cookie away from them for so long, when they finally get the cookie and they still leave,
Yeah. What's the point? So I'm like, just give them the cookie, let them take a bite. And if they really like it, they're going to come back for more. And if not, then I just saved 3-4 months of bullshit, you know?
it's like
So,
either
I
keep
mean,
the cookie away or share the cookie.
but they say if you want like more of a relationship status too, like to stay away from sex because you want to build a bond, build a friendship before you do that. But for me, I did that when I was telling you about the first guy that I went on months of dates, and we didn't have sex at all, and we dated for months and had cute little dates, and that was great. And I built this bonding moment. And to lose that was way harder for me than to sleep with a guy and then not hear from him the next day.
Okay, how did that work out?
Which one? I feel better. I felt better.
No, that
Not
date where it's like you guys. Sorry, I mean the one that you guys went on dates for months. You didn't sleep with
yeah,
him.
nope. And he met another woman and went his way, and that hurt because I was emotionally invested in that. I spent months being emotionally invested, versus spending 2 weeks with a man to get to know him, slept with him, and then he ghosted me.
And why did you? Oh, wait. Is that the same person, or is that somebody else?
Somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. So like the first one I dated for months.
Yes. Let's focus on him right for a second. Why do you think it didn't work out? To put shortly.
I wanted more, and he didn't.
More relationship wise, but you said you guys went out for dates
I know.
for months.
Yeah.
So
But
what more?
he was recently, like, he was 8 months divorced. And
Okay.
so he was like, I'm not looking for anything exclusive, but I love that we do these little date things, and like I'm not quite ready yet. So
When
I
a
was
guy
like,
tells you I don't want anything exclusive, what does that mean to you?
he didn't want a girlfriend.
And what does that mean to you?
He wanted to sleep around. But he didn't want to have sex.
Sleep around. He wants sex.
But he didn't want sex.
Did you
He
offer
actually
it to
would.
him?
Yeah.
And he said no.
Yeah. He said, I just want to date. I want to get to know you. I want us to build this friendship and this relationship. So we dated, and I was patient because he was like, I'm just not ready to sleep with anyone after my ex-wife. And I was like, that's fine. Like, let's have these cute little dates.
Then you said, like, was it out of the blue that he met somebody else and just...
No, he told me like the last 2 weeks, he was like, well, I kind of started hanging out with someone. And I was like, okay, well, we're not boyfriend, girlfriend.
So
like, that's fine.
You guys had a friendship afterwards while he was going out with this person?
So we ended kind of the dating thing, and I tried for like a couple months here and there. We would touch base, like, how's life, what's new. And then actually recently he had asked me to meet the new girlfriend, asked if I wanted to hang out and meet her. And I was just like,
no. Okay. So let me see.
No, hold on. We were talking about the orbiting.
Yeah. You didn't want to be
totally
orbiter?
fucking orbited. I totally was orbiting for a minute, because now that I think about it, I was like, I'm not really interested in meeting the woman who took you away from me. And I was like, obviously I'm still upset about it. I hung around so we could possibly date again someday. I totally did that. I didn't even think about that. I totally fucking did.
See why I love these conversations? We learn so freaking much. We do. We learn.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I was totally orbiting.
We learn so much. I'm telling you.
Gosh.
It's nuts.
Anyway,
it's absolutely nuts. Okay, so Finicky says when women have sex, their body literally does something that ends up causing some protein substance to have their DNA inside of it. It's floating around in the brain fluid sometime later after sex. Each man, they secret add their DNA to, for real. Okay, so he's saying that, I think he's morely speaking on the chemical and physical part.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, when you have sex, the endorphins, we'll talk about that for sure. And maybe that helps you become a little bit more attached. I remember one time I was in therapy, and the therapist says it perfectly. He says that everyone that you sleep with, you bond to their soul. And you can only bond with so many souls. Right? So if a guy or girl, whoever it is sleeping around, you're constantly bonding to multiple souls, and you can't keep that all together.
Yeah.
it is much easier to bond with one soul than it is with five or six. And I was just like, damn, that shit is deep. And then here we are in society. Society's teaching us like, I was literally listening to the song on Pandora where Lil Wayne is like, I wish I could fuck every girl in the world. And you're like saying all these things. It's like, I wish I could fuck every girl in the world. And I'm like sitting there like, yeah. I want to fuck every girl in the world. No. That's a lot. That's a lot of souls. It's a lot of bonding. It's a lot.
My mom used to always tell me that every man you sleep with takes a part of you. And I was always raised on that they always take a part of your heart. Every man that you're with as a woman, like growing up, that's one thing she would tell me is that they take a part of your heart. And for years, like, you know, my numbers were like, I kept them limited because I really did feel that like every time after every one of them, a little piece of my heart was taken just a little bit more, and a little bit piece more, and a little bit more.
And eventually
then
you'll end up what, empty or like, yeah, I'm streaming. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah.
What's up? Hi. Can I come in? Yeah, come in.
I don't pause that thing.
Mommy, I can't pause. I'm literally live stream. Can you wait? Can you wait? Okay. See you soon, okay? Bye, Saraja.
Bye.
All right.
Brad, get food ready.
Okay. No problem. Sorry about that, guys. My niece. She wants to like come in and complain. Yes. So sorry. I know this went on a lot longer than I wanted to. I wanted to keep it like around an hour and a half to 2 hours or so, but we're like 2 hours and 40 plus minutes in. So sorry about that. Okay.
Hey, well, good one then.
Yes. No. It's been great. It's been absolutely great. So yes. Once again, final thoughts. Anything that you wanted to say? Any questions you have? Let it out right now.
No, I think we did that like an hour ago.
We did.
I think we did.
We absolutely did.
No, this last little bit was really nice, and everything they had to say about the way women and people attach and sex, and it's definitely very eye-opening, and should be a little bit more cautious and maybe careful with who you choose to share your body with.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say fuck it and figure that out later, you know. So but I think all in all we covered a lot of good stuff as far as dating and relationships and do's and don'ts, and
okay,
you know.
Also, if you ever feel like you ever want to like come back on the panel, please let me know. I do it, as I said, Monday to Fridays, and we can bring you can be like one of the hosts, and then we'll bring somebody else on, and all of us can just sit down and talk and share and
I love
debate. That's what it's here for. We're here to debate.
That's why I love everyone's questions on here. That's super. It's nice because then we can kind of like brings up more topics, and
yes.
So
yes,
no, this was great. I had fun. I'm waiting for that after hours one though too.
Yes, we'll definitely bring that into fruition for sure. And again, if you feel like there's any topics that you want to talk about, again, hit me up, send it to me, or just be like, hey, what do you think about this TikTok? I think this will be a great topic, a great debate, or anything like that. Send me all of those. Like, I love those. I literally my For You page is full with like dating debatable stuff. So
yeah,
like feel free to like send me those for sure.
Okay, I will for sure.
Yes. Once again, thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate it, guys. Guys, her TikTok is right here. It's at bobby.am. Okay, please go over, drop her a follow, say hi, be like, hey, I'm Fatai, I'm this from the stream. Her TikTok is right here at bobby.am. Show her some love. It's been on the stream the whole time. David says, but you were saying, I think you may have just exemplified why I should not date him more than ever. Wait. David.
Oh,
David, hold on. I can't end
that
the
was
show like
not
this
my
now.
intention.
We can't end the show like that. Listen, first of all, Bobby said multiple times, right? Like you should give dating a chance. You should.
Don't give up on love.
Don't give up on love. Yes, that's what. Yes, that's a key thing. Do not give up on love. There is someone out there for you, David. Matter of fact, not just one. There's multiple people out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple. I don't believe in one soulmate or anything like that. I believe there are people out there that's for you. Fact
You can't
is,
give up trying to find them.
exactly, and dating is tough. I like to call it a roller coaster as well.
Yeah.
You know, you have your highs, you have your lows, and most of the time it's a lot of lows. But it's those highs that makes the lowest moment worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Nothing worth it came easy.
Exactly. Like, listen to Bobby. 2 marriages, and she's still telling you to look for love. Right? No,
Well, thanks.
I don't mean that in the mean way whatsoever. It's like, hey.
No, you turned it into a positive because I
Yeah.
was like, most of the time it's like 2 marriages. This woman doesn't have the best dating advice, but I've also not given up.
She hasn't
So
given up. Exactly. Like,
trial and error.
everyone has their pain. Everyone has their failures. Right?
Yep.
We all go through it. Shit, the amount of people that I've been rejected by. I lost track by my rejections. I lost track. Right? But yeah, don't give up on love. Absolutely not. Just know that dating is hard. So don't be discouraged. It is hard. She made a whole TikTok about dating. So that's how we met. There's people out there that can relate to you and that feels you. So
Yeah. For sure. Okay. No, this was great. Thank you for having me.
Bobby, thank you so much.
Of course.
Go get some dinner. All right.
Yes, I will.
Love the tattoo, by the way. Pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you want to reach out or anything like that, let me know. I appreciate it. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Have a good day. Take care.
You too.
Cheers. Bye. Ooh. My bad, chat. My bad. I was on the wrong screen. I didn't even realize I was on the wrong screen. Man, oh man. Guys, once again, thank you guys so much. We're going to be doing this again tomorrow. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, click your notification bell. And if you have questions, guys, anything you see that's happening throughout the week, please feel free to throw them at me. I'm going to be making more videos and more things moving forward, okay? I want to thank everyone for coming out. David for Tag, Freestyle, Billy, Finicky, David, Panda, all of you guys, man. Austin, thank you guys. Kathy, Dr. Damo, Packer, Ariel Foles, thank you so much. Even though you don't speak English, I appreciate it. I love it. Owen, thank you so much again. Owen, I want to hear all about that girlfriend. For Tag, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Have a good day.